Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Week 3 NexVerse Tournament. I am Bleedies, and my co-host with me today is going to be Maybe Buzz. How you doing today?
Hi. Hi, Bleedies. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited about tonight. We have quite a few people signed up. I think when I last looked, it was like 28 teams.
I always lose count when I'm trying to count because you have to scroll and I can't ever remember who I'm on. But I think that that's pretty close. It's definitely over 20. And
Yeah.
so,
So why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
well, I am Maybe Buzz, and I have been casting this for a little bit now. Every couple of weeks, I'm on here, and I also stream a little bit. And I guess that's me. I'm not very interesting. What about you, Bleedies? You're probably more interesting than I am.
Well, I try to a little bit. I've actually been playing a little bit of a Hero League with Maybe Buzz, and man, she plays some killer Heroes of the Storm, so I'm in good company today. But yeah, I've been streaming here on the NextVerse a couple of times. You know, it's been a little bit rough with some technical difficulties, but you know, we've got that all worked, and it's going to be a great stream tonight. So things that I can talk about a little bit while these brackets are being seeded and we're getting ready for our matchups. Some new heroes that have been changed and buffed around since the last next first tournament. How are you feeling those Li Ming changes?
I feel like even though she got nerfed, it's not enough of a nerf to make her not still a tier 1 hero. I think we're going to see a lot of Li Ming today. Um, I think that we're still going to see a lot of Rhaegar, even though he too has been changed a little bit. But I think that we may see some heroes that aren't normal. We may see some kind of crazy choices, things that we don't normally see. Um, I think there's going to be a lot of gray main. I don't know. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of gray main tonight, but
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We've been playing with some friends, and Greymane is just absolutely vicious, especially when paired like somebody like with a medic or a really good healer. He definitely goes through the squishies. But yeah, I think Li Ming is definitely going to be a pick if they don't ban it out. But I think a lot of teams are probably just going to ban her out for the most part. And yeah, it seems like Blizzard keeps changing Rhaegar to try to reduce the power of our new Rey God, but he doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon, especially in Hero League. It seems like if you don't lock in Rhaegar first, you're going to have a bad time.
and I mean the win percentage is still really really high on him. I know that there was sort of before Li Ming got kind of nerfed, there was kind of the talk of whether she was holding back his win percentage from being as high as it really was. So we'll see. Do you think she's going to get banned a lot tonight? I mean, it's the meta right now. There's so many things that could be banned. There isn't so much that ever you have to ban this hero. So do you think that's who it's going to be?
Well, I will say that with some of the tournaments that the last tournament that I had watched, Li Ming did get banned most of the time, but when she actually was picked, she wasn't that effective because a lot of times teams were counter picking her by doing like a double tank strategy because if she can't reset her cooldowns, then she's not quite as effective as you might think she could be. But it'll be interesting to see because I think if teams can maybe let it go and at the very end of their draft sneak in a Li Ming pick against a really squishy comp, I think that she could possibly be successful.
Right, because the burst potential is still there. She's very bursty, and paired with the right things on the team, they can wreck. That's all Ling Ming does, though. I sometimes feel like she just wrecks with disintegrate, and it disintegrates such a great disengage. That's the other part of her is that laser beam of OP-ness just makes everybody back out. You really just can't sit there and take it. So
Yeah, I mean, without S of Johan anymore, she really doesn't provide any sort of CC unless you take Wave of Force against like diving comps. But everybody loves to be really greedy on any sort of damage dealer, and it's no different on Li Ming. You'll usually see most people take that disintegrate. So if you can't hit your skill shots, she's not really that great of a hero, in my opinion, at least.
right. The potential of being OP isn't there unless you hit all your skill shots. But you can still face roll your way through it. It's
Yeah, though we will say that hopefully in this competition, this level, you just can't. You'll get punished here. You can't just get away with face rolling. But while we're
right.
talking about some hero picks here, who do you want to see tonight? Anybody that's a little bit different than what we're probably gonna see?
Um, I'm always a fan of Brightwing, and she's grown in popularity lately. She's been in those pro games. You see her pop up every once in a while, so I always like seeing Brightwing. I think that I have been enjoying watching Lunara a little bit more in those Lunara games. I hate playing against her. So it'll be interesting if we see some of that tonight, but still, she's not really that popular competitively. So we'll have to see. What about you? Anything that you really want to see your favorite hero?
Well, my favorite hero is actually Thrall, so he'll be picked all the time because he's really strong. My other favorite hero, though, actually can't be picked in this tournament, and that's why I wanted to kind of bring it up really quick to the viewers here. Stitches is globally banned today because his hook is still causing problems in custom games and lagging people out. And the other ban that we're going to have today is Cho'Gall. And Cho'Gall, because there's this really weird ban on Dragonshire where if you exit the Dragonite as Cho'Gall, you will leave Gall behind, and he can just destroy any sort of structures without taking any sort of damage. So if you guys see any exploits or like that today, just make sure to report it to the admins because we want to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right. So it looks like the brackets are up. Let's see here. And it looks like there's 24 teams, I think is what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I think so. Let's actually go to those graphics now that you're talking about that. For some reason, it didn't go. I'll get that up for you guys in just a second. For some reason, I didn't want to go to it. But yeah, we do have. Do you see any teams in here that you're looking forward to seeing?
I am always excited to see. I like King of Blades. I definitely have enjoyed watching them play. There's some new teams. I saw that there was an Ohio State team, which probably has something to do with the Heroes of the Dorm. I think that we're going to see a lot of those school teams start cropping up in, the amateur tournaments, getting some practice in before the Heroes of the Dorm starts officially, and that'll be really interesting. Just for new faces in the scene and to see how, new meta, new heroes, all that kind of stuff. And being able to see them now before, we watch them maybe on the official streams.
Yeah, I can totally agree, and I'm looking forward to seeing some some of those teams that you were talking about as well. But of course, we have some of our really strong teams that I always like to watch. RFS Gaming, they've always done really well in our tournaments. Globe Gluttony is a team that I've seen for some other tournaments, and they seem to be really up and coming. And they actually won another amateur tournament that I was watching in the past, and it just seems like lately that it seems like anybody can beat anybody in the amateur scene. So I think we're going to see some really exciting games today.
Which is a lot of fun because it means that we get to meet new people, we get to cast new people that we haven't seen before, watch new groups come in and do really well. Perform pretty well in these tournaments, and it's kind of fun that it's such a turnaround and we see so many new faces. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, guys, and we're trying to make small talk right here, but I promise you we're going to be bringing you our first draft here as quickly as possible as we can get it to you.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get in one of these games. Let's see if any of the drafts have started yet.
Yeah, and so while we're waiting for that, while we're looking for a draft, come on Twitch chat. Why don't you tell us what you're really looking forward to seeing today besides the black screen that just popped up a while ago because my window was bugged? Do you want to see some interesting heroes, any interesting matchups, any teams that you're supporting today? Just let us know. We always love to have the communication going on. We always love to hear from all of the loyal viewers here.
Yeah, there's such a great, group of you guys that come out every week and watch it, and we really appreciate that. Well, let's see.
Alright, guys, while we're waiting for this really quick, we're just going to go to just a really quick break. Won't be longer than like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm sorry, won't be longer than 5 minutes while we get this first draft set up for you, and we'll get that right to you as soon as possible. See you in a bit. Hey guys, sorry about that wait, and we're just to actually start our first draft here, and because we wanted to get you as soon as possible here, we're actually in the middle of a draft, but yeah, we're gonna be casting the match between Globe Gluttony and Addiction. So you want to start talking about this draft, May?
Sure. So we didn't see the Leeming ban. It didn't happen. And so there was a Jaina ban from Globe Gluttony, and then Zagara was banned on Addiction side. And so we are on Cursed Hollow. Zagara is a pretty good ban anyway because everything that Zagara brings to the table. So we're going into now who are the first picks. And we did see Globe Gluttony pick up Leeming because really good. And also Thrall, another solid choice, really popular. And on the Addiction side, we have Rhaegar, Falstad, and Diablo. So pretty kind of standard choices so far from both teams. Um, you can't really it's pretty standard. Nothing wrong with any of those picks, or even kind of like, oh, why did they do that? It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I could totally agree with you on there. All of these heroes right now that have been picked so far in the draft are just really, really strong heroes, and it's good right now that even though there are a few heroes on the heroes roster that do need a couple of buffs, that there's still quite a few viable options. So it's not like we're seeing a bad hero pick anywhere here. But right now we do see that Globe Gluttony is lacking a front line here as well as a healer, so it'll be interesting to see what Addiction's going to ban out here.
Right. And we did see Globe Gluttony just their banned Kel'Thas, so kind of restricting the mages can get played against them.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah.
And Addiction just banning out Uther here. So I think that's a really good call because you want to just kind of think about what your comp's going to be like and what healer can go well against that comp, and then just do that ban. Because honestly, in this game right now, I would say with all the nerfs that have gone to warriors and stuff like that, most warriors are pretty viable. So you're not going to get much value banning out a warrior.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much on the table that it really they have to be thinking, all right, they don't want that frontline stun from Uther, or maybe if they want to go a little bursty, they don't want to have the Divine Shield be able to be used. So it's probably, and what other healers they could take Morales. With the support, there isn't that much depth to a certain extent. So restricting that healer is probably a good choice for them.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, right here, they've kind of left the door open for really whatever kind of healer that Globe Gluttony kind of wants here. So if they have a specialty healer that they're really good at now, their healer on their team has to be really happy. But looking at their comp with Thrall, Johanna, Li Ming, when I look at the pool of available healers here, I have to think that Medic's going to be one of the most solid choices, especially on the map, which we haven't mentioned yet, is going to be on Cursed Hollow. That medevac, if you just choose not to go Stem Drone, does get a lot of value out of transporting on a very large map like that.
Yeah, we may see that we may see them stay in lane, get a little bit of extra XP, and be able to come into those fights out on top as far as what level they are at. We are gonna see them pick Tyrande, so not a true support or a full support. We'll see whether and they could do either way. They could pick someone else. They could use Tyrande just for the utility, just for the stun, which has been nerfed a little bit. But still, Tyrande is a great hero. The vision is good. The toolkit is good. So they may pick up another support, but they may not. They may just go with Tyrande. They may try to with Thrall CC and the burst that Li Ming can do on top of Tyrande. They may just think that they have enough to dominate those curses,
Yeah,
those tributes.
I definitely think so. And you bring up a good point here. Whenever Addiction has to think of right here, if they have some fall stat poke, but Diablo and Rhaegars are kind of all in heroes. So when you want to do those tribute fights, you want to make sure that you have some sort of poke, so that if your team is rotating a little bit late, or perhaps your team is just recovering from somebody getting knocked out, you want to make sure that you can keep that tribute fight going as long as possible without fully committing. And you see the side of Globe Gluttony with a Thrall, Li Ming, and Tyrande, that's a ton of poke that you can make sure that that tribute won't be captured. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Addiction pick up something with a little bit of range here.
Oh, and yeah, and with Kael'thas and Jaina being off the board, it's a little bit more limited. But we are going to see them pick up Leoric, so give themselves a little bit of sustain, that bigger front line. Maybe try to drag the fight out, prolong the fight in order to force, that not having the full support hero, whether that will come and hurt them.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. And this is kind of what I hinted at when we were first talking about ways that you possibly can counter Li Ming if she's picked. And they do pick up that double tank, so that's going to mean that Li Ming has to really you know, time her skill shots right and try to hit the squishies instead of just going on that tank front line. Because if she doesn't get any cooldown resets and the front line is able to engage after she blows her cooldowns, you know, that could be some really big trouble for Glow Gluttony.
Right. So we see Addiction is going to pick up Vala, so a little bit of the ranged, a little bit of poke. Um, it'll be interesting to see what kind of build Vala goes, because interesting thing about Vala is so many builds. You can go so many different ways with it. You can take different skills. You don't have to go just, one ability. And we see Globe Gluttony pick up another support, but another, interesting support, Tassadar. So lots of shields, or we may see Force Wall come into play, which is huge. You could Force Wall and in essence get the cap on the tribute for that if you time it well enough. So interesting choices there. I always think it's interesting to play the Tyrande and Tassadar together. Um, two half supports make a full support
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
exactly. And in a way, though, you just have to be really confident in your player's skill when you pick this sort of comp, because you have to make sure that whenever you get that target that Tyrande marks, that Thrall and Li Ming are going to be able to blow up that target instantly, because Addiction has a lot more sustained damage, and they don't rely on just a single amount of burst. They can keep engaging and keep fighting, and eventually they can take the fight. So now that we're going back here, what do you think about the draft? Who do you feel more confident here kind of won that draft, or do you think it's kind of an even draft? Because they all pick pretty strong heroes, I'd say.
I think it's a pretty even draft. I think that maybe Globe Gluttony has a little bit of the more rock star heroes, if that makes sense. There's the opportunity for a lot of big plays, but on the same side, there's a lot of opportunities for Addiction too. If they get the Entomb, if they get the flip from Diablo, if Vala lays down, Reign of Vengeance and get some CC in that way, they may have the ability to just counter, kind of engage on Li Ming and take that hero out of the equation right away.
Yeah, and I think there's just, like I said, it's going to be with these kind of comps, though, when you get to this kind of level of play, when you have two really good teams, you're always going to have to say, you can draft all you want, and yes, the draft is obviously very important, trying to counter draft and ban, but, you kind of have to look at the two teams and say what they want to do with these comps. And as I said, Glow Gluttony, with this comp, most likely wants to make sure that they catch somebody out who's out of position, and then make sure that they blow them up. While Addiction is just going to want to make sure to use that double front line to get in there and have more sustained fights and just negate the bursts that they have. Maybe get a really good strafe off and if they need to, have a disengage for Falstaff. So they definitely have a lot of tools on the side of Addiction to dictate how the fight goes. But Globe Gluttony has the more punishing style of, hey, if you get out of position, we're going to make sure that you are one dead person.
Right, Tassadar with that Force Wall, if that's what he ends up going instead of Archon, which I think we see the Force Wall happen more often. That I just go crazy whenever that happens, because you can separate a team, you can lock one person on one side and the rest of the team on the other, and they can't get around to it. It's in this map, there's a lot of those little corridors that you have to get through, and Force Wall can be a huge fight changer. It can change the entire momentum of the engage.
Yeah, and to all our viewers out there, if you cannot tell after that statement, it may be that May really likes to play support characters.
That's maybe. I love support.
So all you poor support mains that get yelled at in Twitch chat right now every single day about how you use all your cooldowns to heal all your teammates and they still go in and they die. Just give a quick shout out to all of you out there, all like 5 you support mains in our Twitch chat.
All right, so I think we're gonna get this invite here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I'm just really excited because Vala has been kind of dying off, so it's really interesting to see when Vala's picked, because every time I see that Vala's picked and I kind of think in my head, Vala's not the strongest hero. Usually Vala is like one of those specialty characters that for some reason or another, like one person can pick up Vala and just completely change the game with the way they position.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Vala too sometimes is underrated. She's just not flashy. She's not a flashy hero, but she's always solid. So
Yeah, I totally agree. She was my first love when I first started this game in Alpha, whenever she was probably one of the strongest DPS heroes in the game. Though I always went Reign of Vengeance instead of Strafe, because maybe I like those flashy plays where you could blink in and vault and then do a really nice Rain of Vengeance. Of course, I will admit I was really, really bad when I started the game, so it might have just been a blink into the middle of the team, and then I just immediately got stunned and killed. But we won't talk about that too much.
That's all right. And as I was touching on before too with Vala, is that she has the ability to go so many different builds. She's one of the heroes, and there's most of the heroes are just it's one build all the time, most of the time. But Vala, there's so many different ways to play her, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I totally have to agree with you right there. There's just, you don't see the auto attack build go out very much because, people are really scared to do auto attack builds with the Vala who doesn't have the range of Raynor. It doesn't have the knockback of Raynor, so you have to really position very well. But it's a strong build nonetheless. And while we're talking on things that, while we're waiting to get into this lobby that we're trying to get to as fast as possible, folks, Leoric here, we have a Thrall, Johanna, Tyrande. So those three people can possibly caught in Entomb, but do you think he's going to go Entomb here, or do you think he'll probably go for the other ultimate?
It goes back to what you said before, is they have to what they want to do with their comp. If they want to engage hard on Li Ming or even Tyrande, then you would go Entomb, right? You would want to isolate her by yourself. You'd want to get an honor so she can't get away. But then at the same time, she can teleport out of it. So maybe it's not even worth that. I think we're going to see March. Based on that thought process that just happened.
Geez, you're making it already. You're like I don't know, but I know now.
I know. Well, because the idea for Entomb is you want to go in and get on someone and burst them down. You want to eliminate that player from the game because you're using that ult, you're putting it on the line, so you want to get the most bang for your buck. But the person that you're going to want to kill on Globe Gluttony is going to be Li Ming, right? You're not going to chase Tastar around. You're not going to hit Johanna. Thrall, maybe if he gets caught out of position, but no, they're going to want to go for Li Ming. So, but she can get out of that. So it's a waste of a heroic. So we'll see. I'm going to call it for March.
Yeah, March is just a huge playmaker, so I'm really excited to see it because if you do a good March can turn a deadly orc into like your worst night.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we are just about to start and get into this match here, so I'm really excited. We're about to start the first match of the day.
All right, so let's see here. So, let me get in.
Would you like to start announcing the teams?
Yes. So for Globe Gluttony, we're going to have Mr. Report on Tyrande, Zero Max on Tassadar, Stereophonic on Thrall, Legend on Li Ming, and Limvisionant on Johanna.
And on the other side of Addiction, we're going to have JDX17 on Diablo, Lazarus on Falstad, Fruit Loops on Rhaegar, Tykeer on Leoric, and Maple Syrup on Vala. And as this is Cursed Hollow here, folks, with the change to the towers now, I don't think we're going to see a lot of tower rushing, but we do see them actually all 5 grouping mid, so I could absolutely be proven wrong here.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that everyone's just gonna play it safe.
Yeah, Mr. Report here, though, kind of is establishing the tone here, maybe trying to see if he can make some people tilt here, because he is doing some beast-stepping in the middle of the lane here, so he's gonna have to be careful here to make sure that he can back it up.
Right, and Global losing out on a little bit of XP right here in the beginning or Globe Gluttony, because they are, not in lane, and Falstad's able to just have a little bit more map presence. Also, Leoric is so strong in lane, so we're gonna see him probably be by himself most of this laning phase.
Yeah, and I think so. I think you're correct in that, and we do see really just not really anything too grossly going on. They did look like they were trying to do a gank on Leoric, but as we all know, he is a spooky ghost, and he does not go down that very easily. Meanwhile, on the bottom, though, we do have Thrall here getting picked up and stunned by Diablo, taking a lot of damage from Falstad, but Falstad himself taking too much damage, and probably another Chain Lightning here will go off and maybe kill him, but no. Just really close on both sides.
Yeah, so the Stereophonic getting taken down as Maple Syrup rotates down, though, and able to just pick him off with Vala. So looking at talents here a little bit, we're going to see Empower for Tyrande. So that's the cooldown on Sentinel, Conjures for Tassadar, so just more mana. Rolling Thunder from Thrall. And we're seeing actually Li Ming is taking Aether Walk, so the reduced mana cost and cooldown for Teleport, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't really usually see that talent. Most of the time you definitely see the ones that, the talents that to make sure that she can sustain her mana at level 1, but interesting choice. It does allow you to be a little bit more aggressive and also use that teleport as a way to clear without taking any mana, so it's a little bit more efficient in the clearing department, but I'm not so sure I agree with that.
Right. And you know that is one of the things that did get nerfed with her is that mana regen, dropping from 50 below 50% to below 25% mana.
Yeah, and
So it
you
doesn't
know,
kick in as quickly.
it doesn't, but you know, in my experience of playing Li Ming, if you're running out of mana, you must really just be pushing your buttons really fast and just doing some sort of direction. I do speak about that. Brawl once again trying to be ganked here. JDXC 17 does get a stun on him, but he does manage to escape quite nicely. That Wind Fury, not always used for attacking, folks, can be used for escaping as well.
On the other side, we're going to look at talents here. Vala taking the multi-shot build. Maybe first two multi-shots, so really going for that AoE clear.
Yeah, we do have some more. We have the Pierce coming out as well. We have Laws of Hope. Dominance, which is going to be a really game changer if you can get those takedowns going on. But we'll talk a little bit more about talents here because the exciting part of this map is happening right now, and the first tribute is spawning. And we do see that it looks like Falstad is going to have to stay bottom to clear that Merc camp, which was timed very well by the side of Addiction.
Right, it's lucky for Globe, actually, if they have that false statistic in. Oh, but he's actually going to leave and come up anyway and not clear it. Tribute's still up. Stereophonic trying to get a little bit of cap on it, but getting chased off. Nice lightning shield there by Fruit Loops, right on.
Just doing everything they can to prevent this. Like I said, this is the name of the game here. While Falstad is soaking here for Addiction, Globe Gluttony is going to just want to get here and stay here and channel. And they want to get this as fast as possible, otherwise they're going to just keep losing out on the experience here.
Right, but then really having the dominance on that tribute, being able to poke a lot more, you know, than Addiction was able to.
Yeah, and Globe Gluttony does end up picking up the first tribute here, and it does look like maybe they'll come in here with S3 and maybe push the top a little bit more, but not really too much point because Li Ming has already destroyed those towers.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't mention this in the draft that just Addition really going to need a little bit more poke that we thought so that they could contest these tributes.
Yeah, and that's going to be big, especially when we get to later levels here, because whenever you can't poke off and you have to commit a little bit more, those deaths mean a lot more. It could mean a boss, and it could mean a fort, but, you know, it's only one tribute, so it's not the end of the road here for Addiction. They can definitely recover from this and come back, but we do have level 7 hit first by Globe Gluttony.
Yeah, followed very quickly by Addiction. Not too much of an XP difference between here. Only about a level.
Yeah, we go over some of these talents here while we're still trying to keep up with all the action as well. We have Searing Attacks on Vala going that build, Ossian Renewal on Leoric. We have Cleanse, Secret Weapon, and From the Shadows going out on that side. And then on the other side here, we have we have Battle Momentum. But, you know, I'll talk about this a little bit more because we do have a little bit of fight here. They are trying to clear the side of Addiction, getting these bruisers, but Globe Gluttony is going to be able to take these from them, and that's got to be a huge, just a huge blow to them.
Right, it's a huge deal, and JD having it back out, just taking so much damage right there. And just, not all, Addiction, not all there. Globe getting down a little bit quickly here with their whole team. We see Lazarus maybe getting jumped on right here. Like Vizit come in with the Condemn, but Lazarus able to get away.
Yeah, while that's happening here, Li Ming is just doing a really great job here of just making sure that there is going to be no tower alive left on this map, just completely assaulting it, and they're too low health right now to just be able to take those shots to the face.
Yeah, it's such an overpowered part of Li Ming, I've always think too. Just like those couple extra shots you can get in on those towers, especially in early game, just being able to, get good position and just waste some of that ammo and some of that health on those towers.
Yeah, for sure, and it's definitely something that Blizzard said they're already looking into here, folks, but, we can't really blame them. They're just taking advantage of what they were given to in the draft, and we do see that, once again, just showing their superior map mechanics right now is Globe picking up that siege camp, making sure that they're going to have that advantage when they're pushing for this tribute here. But Addiction doing an interesting kind of counterplay here, giving up the curse, but going for the boss. What do you think about that, man?
It's such an early curse that it probably is going to end up being equal. The push that each team is going to get, because Globe either is going to have to defend this or push it, and they can't really just let boss wreck bottom lane, but looks like they're going to pick up theirs really quickly to counter that.
I actually really love this decision because the trickle right now, along with the soak getting done by Li Ming, is going to bring them to level 10, and they also are going to get the tribute as well, so just really good time because, that boss is going to be able to push into no shots even taking it down.
Right, they kind of timed it perfectly, giving Legend a little bit of the ability to go push this top fort down pretty quickly because they knew where Addiction was. They knew they were bottom. Addiction, though, just kind of pushing this bottom lane, getting to get this fort as well.
Yeah, you know, they're definitely going to trade here a little bit, but the overall pushing power, if they keep committing to that bottom there, is just going to be in favor of Globe, and Globe does have ultimates, which I'm going to talk about shortly here. We have Shadow Stock going on Ronda, usually standard. Force Wall, the love of your life there. Sundering, Disintegrate, and Blessed Shield, so nothing too out of the norm there, just taking a bunch of really strong ultimates.
Oh, but it looks like we are going to see Entomb from Type here. JD going in, getting the flip on Stereostonic.
Yeah, but JD and some not getting obliterated here, but Thrall does go down as well, so right now we do have an even trade here, but right now they're doing this fight, and even though it does seem like Low Gluttony is getting low, they're leaving the Moss alone, so the Moss is going to get that keep, and at 7 minutes, going on 8 minutes now, that's huge, because they have to...
Yeah, catapults.
Catapults are going to be in that lane the entire game.
Blue team's core is under attack.
And just the spot's going to go down quickly now as it's on the core, but yeah, that was... You know, the timing of all those things that just happened for Globe Gluttony right there was really good. They got that camp, they got the last tribute that they needed for the curse, and they got their boss. So they were able to make way more from that than Addiction was. The Shadow Stalk getting used also, but not enough to keep Stereophonic alive, but it not really mattering because JD went down as well. And Globe Gluttony just disengaged. They had gotten everything that they wanted from that push. They really couldn't have gotten anything more. It was, you know... more than you usually get from a first curse.
Yeah, I totally agree there. And while we're doing this really quick, while there's a break in this action that's been happening this entire game, do you want to maybe talk about the ultimates here that was taken by the side of Addiction?
Sure. So for Addiction, Diablo took Apocalypse, pretty standard. Mighty Gust from Falstead, Ancestral Healing, Entomb, and Strafe. So yeah, the Entomb, I was sure that it was going to be March. So we'll see, you know, if they can really get some guarantees, some kills with Entomb, it's totally going to be worth it. But, you know, they have some CC from Apocalypse as well. So they can lay down the Apocalypse and then put the Entomb down. They can get, you know, a couple people.
Yeah, and really right now, though, these decisions right now are just favoring Globe Gluttony because they're just going to say, if you're going to split push, we're going to split push because we have the higher ground than you right now. We can honestly just get to your keeps and destroy them. So they had to just, all of them had to back right there. Otherwise, they were threatened to lose the second keep, which is going to put them in another position to really just kind of control the map.
Right. They are doing this camp right here. But Globe Gluttony ahead on talents. Addiction just got their level 13 talents right there. We also see Thrall took Giant Killer. Burning Rage taken from Limnivision. So a little bit of more damage just going out from her.
Yeah, and we do have that Illusionist come out from Li Ming too, so she's going to be really aggressive in trying to get those resets off of those kills. And we do have Johanna here going top, but it does look like they're going to be trying to, you know, maybe go for this camp here, bottom on Addiction. Yeah, we have on the other side here, we have Firestorm, Thunderstrike, Earth Shield, Spell Shield, and Frost Shot. So just the pretty standard talents there. The Frost Shot from Vala. Going to do a lot of work here, slowing people, but we do have a team fight kind of breaking out here. But Vala using her Strafe and not really the most optimal time there.
Yeah, you know, Force Wall getting used as well, and also Ancestral had to be used on Maple Syrup to, you know, keep him alive. He was on the wrong side of that Force Wall, so they actually come out on the wrong side of ults there, most of them down. And Tomb getting used right there, my report trying to get away, JT taking a lot of damage. And he is going to go down, that Force Wall going down, and I don't even know if that really had anything to do with that death. They were just able to burst him down so quickly. He really just gets in their face, and all that damage from Thrall and Li Ming just coming out.
Yeah, and really underrated right there is, you know, Thralls all the time will just try to use their Sundering just to do as much damage or secure a kill, but Mr. Report's kind of caught out there. Falstad does go down for the Li Ming damage there. Johanna just trying to catch some people here, but it looks like they'll be able to disengage. But finishing my thought there is that Tyrande looked like she was just going to be as good as dead there, but instead of using a Sundering for the damage or the kill, he used the Sundering to make sure that they re-engage the team fight after that stun, reposition themselves, and actually come out in top and grab the tribute there.
Right, I think that's one of the reasons that Thrall is such a great and strong hero right now, is that it can be used. Sundering can be used offensively, it can be used defensively. It's a great re-engage. Most of the time we'll see, you know, some poke happen and some ultimates get dropped, and then Sundering will come out of nowhere and it'll change the entire momentum of the fight.
Interesting decision here, and I really like what they did here. Instead of going for the boss, which they could have done right there, they made sure that they sent Tyrande mid to get some soak, because guys, let me tell you, when you have that advantage, the level advantage, you want to make sure you get that talent advantage at level 16 there. before you engage a fight, because if not, you'll be on the same talent tier, and then, you know, you could get wiped at boss and the whole game could be completely turned around. And now, as I say that, now they are going to take the boss since they do have that paladin advantage now.
Right, and they know that Addiction doesn't really want to push it. They're down 2 levels. They have, you know, they're down the talent advantage. It's hard to go into that tribute, especially on their side of the map. So they were gonna, you know, play it safe there. We're gonna see Diablo kind of face check a little bit. JD getting caught by the force wall, but it goes down before any damage can really get put down. Legend, let's see here.
Yeah, I know. Zero Max is gonna probably have a talk with his teammates there and be like, "Hey guys, I pretty much did the perfect force wall there. Where's the follow up?" But you know,
right.
Nothing too much to complain about. And be picky here, as they are 2 levels above here, and you know they're gonna put some pressure here, try to poke at range with this boss, but they should possibly very easily get this peak here and set themselves up for a tribute. But they want to make sure they don't overextend here because, like I said, they can get this curse very easily.
Seeing Lazarus getting caught on the wrong side of that force wall. Really, actually, great force walls by Zero Max. He's been putting them down. They haven't always been.
Toronto does get stunned by getting Apoc does go out of this. Toronto just report is taking a lot of damage here. Taking a lot of damage from Walker. Once again, the Sunny goes out to disengage. And Leor taking much damage. The Ancestral does not go off. The reset goes off. And Lazarus using his Mighty Guts to disengage here. And Johanna might be in trouble now.
Yeah, but it looks like. No, see, Globe Gluttony's just like unrelenting. They're just going to keep falling in. They back off a little bit, but after, you know, give enough time for, you know, Disintegrate probably to reset a little bit, but just so much damage going out, they can back off a little bit, and JD's trying to come in and make something happen, but really no one's able to get in to follow with him to make some of those plays happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so tough because every time it seems like they're going to get a kill, Stereophonic just putting a clinic on how to disengage his Thrall, because that Sundering just completely changes the team fight. And, you know, they get caught off guard, the Ancestral's late, Leor goes down, and usually that's not a big deal, but with the resets it is. But meanwhile, Addiction
Great Sentinel.
Great Sentinel.
Right,
like
great Sentinel on Mr. Report, just knowing exactly where it was. I mean, that's how you know, just discern a good Tyrande from an okay Tyrande, is being able to hit those Sentinels to stop objectives.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen Tyrandes try to use their Sentinel on the boss? You know? So,
right.
Yeah, definitely just really smart usage here, and all the heroes really fitting their role quite perfectly here, because, you know, we always see all these flashy plays where Li Ming will completely wipe an enemy team, but knowing that there's a double front line here, they're taking their engagements really slow, waiting for the team to overcommit, and as soon as the team overcommits, just like we were talking about pre-draft, they say, okay, we're choosing this target's going dead, and now that Li Ming has a reset, they have to back off or they face their whole team going down.
Right, and you see just the dominance right now that Glow Gluttony has. The whole map is red. You see they're painting the map red, and that is the case. Legend going in, putting on Disintegrate, getting caught a little bit. The force wall goes down. JD taking some damage. Apocalypse goes out as well, taking so much damage still. Entomb getting Limnivision, but the Sundering disengaging everybody.
Yeah, and JDX17 having to get that heal on her there almost goes down as well. And you'd have to think that maybe they're just going to push the core here for game. They do have 2 down. I'd like to see some fight here maybe out of the other side, but with the boss, no. That's just going to be GG, I believe.
Right.
Very, very good game played by Globe Gluttony. Really just, you know, the team fighting was very good on both sides, but they just made really, really great map decisions.
They did. There was a lot of really great camp timing on their side, and they also just were very aggressive, but they weren't overly aggressive. They pushed the advantage when they had it. They really played around their ults. Like so many clutch Sundering, so many clutch force walls. We saw a lot of that from Globe Gluttony's side. And just, you know, not being able on the side of Addiction to be able to get, you know, really into Globe Gluttony's backline. The only things that we were really seeing was, you know, Mr. Report was getting, you know, caught on Tyrande, but that was like the only person who was taking any damage on Globe Gluttony's side. And just, you know, between Thrall and Li Ming, I think just nobody able to being following up, you know, with Diablo to make those kills.
Yeah, and we look at the side here of we look at the hero damage here. We have Vala here on the side of Addiction having 25k hero damage, but Li Ming, once again, even though not picking up a ton of kills, just really knowing when to deal damage and how to deal it, having a top damage of 34k hero damage. So just really, really well played by Globe Gluttony, and if they keep playing like this the way they are with their positioning and being really patient, they're going to really make it really far in this tournament today.
Yeah. There's a few times this kind of chain of events happened that I think is really good is Diablo would go and JD would go in and get the flip on Sunderbee, and you would see that force wall go up right as soon as that happened, just effectively cutting off the rest of the team from engaging on whoever JD had gone in on. And that's really important, I think, with Diablo. And we see so much Diablo. Diablo is such a strong tank, such a good warrior, and that flip is huge. But if the rest of the team can't get there to follow up, that it really just kind of renders it useless.
Yeah, and I totally agree right there. And it's just like I said, really just great team fighting out of the both sides. I kind of feel bad there because Addiction obviously doing a really good job. And I do apologize, guys. I realized now when I was setting up the team names here, I accidentally put a one on either side because I had left up the scores from my last time that I casted. So there was no 1-1 games before that. It's just the best of one until the finals. And I did manage to turn on my mic too because I know some of you said I was a little bit low. But, that was a really great game. I really enjoyed it. And right now, we're going to go to a very short break while we get the next match set up for you guys, and we'll get back to you very soon. Hey guys, welcome back here, and we do have the draft about to start here from AWA versus Globe Gluttony once again. And it looks like already we have Sky Temple, Garden of Terror, and Towers of Doom banned. Any maps that you're wanting to see, May?
I am a fan of Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I think that we might say it's a map gets played sometimes, often. I don't know. We're down to kind of the normal spread, right? Battlefield of Eternity, Infernal Shrines, and Dragonshire are still up. But I want Tomb of the Spider Queen. What about you?
I do like that kind of stuff, but at the same time, Tomb of the Spider Queen, it's been done a lot. I've cast a lot of Tomb of the Spider Queen games. It seems to be the most popular map in Heroes of the Storm. So I would not be well, we already see that already gone. It would be nice to see a Battlefield of Eternity because I really like that map. It takes a lot of really good decision making about when you should attack and when you should defend, and we are going to see Battlefield of Eternity.
Ooh, I love this map. I always think that this is one of my favorite maps to play because sustain is such a big issue on this map. Especially late game, you really cannot afford to die that middle objective phase is so important. So many interesting things can happen during that. Are they going to defend? Are they going to offend? Are they going to just each poke at one separately and then come together and fight in the middle? I love.
Well, let's hope that they don't do anything to offend anybody today. But yeah, I get what you're saying there about the attack and defense. But we do see the Rhaegar first pick go out. So I saw Artemis Howell in Twitch chat right there, probably making it really sad that we're not going to see Rhaegar today. And I would not be surprised if we saw a Li Ming ban here. But Globe Gluttony did do very well with her, so perhaps they will just pick her up.
Interesting. We're gonna see a Thrall ban.
Really, that's very interesting too because Globe Gluttony actually, is very good at playing Thrall. Their Stereophonic is a really great Thrall player that we saw from last match. But maybe they've been watching AWA here and they know that maybe they have a really good Thrall player as well.
So I wonder if we're gonna see the Ming picked up, and it looks like maybe I don't know. Yeah, so is it gonna leave that open for Ming to get picked up? Is it worth banning Thrall for Ming? We'll have to see, I guess. But like you said, Globe Gluttony did great on Thrall, so it's interesting that they maybe just they have something specific in mind, is what I would think, and that Thrall messes that up.
Yeah, Li Ming obviously being a really solid hero, but we did talk about her possibly being counterpicked by maybe a double tank composition or something like that. And honestly, I wouldn't think that she does a lot of damage to the Immortals, at least in my experience when I played her, but I did see some people take some interesting talents with some of the more missile talents because they do more damage to the Immortals. And we do see Globe Gluttony after that pick up Zagara, who is obviously excellent on every map, but especially really good on this one as well.
We'll see Globe Gluttony picking up Jaina, who I think is, it's a strong mage. There's nothing wrong with Jaina. Her slow is good. You can go either way, with her heroic ability. And I think that she has a lot of sustain, which for this map helps.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Jaina right now, it's kind of getting a fill out on the amateur scene of people really picking her up after she was nerfed in the past. But on the pro scene, I've seen Jaina just almost being like almost first pick worthy because of the amount of damage that her new Frostbolt builds can do. Just even without the Frostbolt builds, the increased damage to the Q it hurts quite a bit. And we have AWA looking like they're going to pick up a Tyrande and possibly a frontline here looking like Johanna.
Right, so we'll see if Tyrande is going to be the only support. I think that it can definitely be done on this map to have Tyrande be your only support. I think the Vision helps there. Sentinel knowing where everyone is going into the I don't know. What are they? I can't think of what they're called. I just had a total blank.
It's all right, but yeah, and she's definitely good at just marking the Immortals and, able to burst them down a lot faster when we have a Tyrande marking it. So it gives you a little bit of advantage when it comes to trying to race the other team, which, especially in the early game, that's usually what it turns out to when both teams are trying to be really aggressive and damaging Immortals.
Yeah, so we'll see who else Globe picks up here. Who do you think they're going to pick up? Let's think. What else?
Well, obviously they need another frontliner here. I mean, they need a frontliner in general and a healer here. So, though I didn't see it from last game, I would not be surprised to see a medic be picked up as well. And interesting choice here, seeing that Jaina and Zagara both being squishy heroes. They're going to just ban out Zeratul, who just recently has picked up in popularity. I wouldn't say throughout the player base, but in the skilled player's hands, Zeratul can do a lot of damage.
So AWA banning Uther, so kind of a limited field now for Globe Gluttony to pick up a support from. But Morales, like you said, still on the board. Brightwing, who I think is great on this map, on the board still. But you have to think that Globe Gluttony wants to pick someone squishy. If they're going to ban Zeratul, they want Kel'Thas, another mage, another person that just lays the damage down, because why else ban Zeratul then, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I think that's definitely something they want to worry about there. But they definitely need some sort of more auto-attack damage, I think, than they do have for the Immortal here. So I would not be surprised if they maybe pick up a Rainer here at some point. But they do pick up, a Diablo first, because they did need that front line. And Diablo has been very, very successful, and the amount of CC and displacement he can do can really blow up a Li Ming or a Tyrande.
Mm-hmm. If he gets those good flips in, and right into a blizzard, right into a circle of frost with the roots going down.
Yeah, and like someone. I said, I really expect a support pick here, and yeah, it does look like they're going to highlight the Kharazim, but no, it looks like they're going to Morales. I'm telling you, Morales is going to be great on this, but
maybe they don't know.
Yeah, they're really trying to decide here, and they do go with the Kharazim.
Big another frontline person. Kharazim is not bad. We don't see him that often, but he gets played enough that it's not like shocking when we see him, and he does bring a lot of things to the table. You could go either way with the ult. You could go seven-sided and do a lot of damage, or you could go for Divine Palm and really have that ability to save somebody on your team.
Yeah, I know, and but what it makes me think about when I see that Kharazim being picked up by Globe Gluttony is that maybe they're selling out their strategy that they might be going a double tank composition here, because Kharazim is definitely a lot stronger whenever you have another front line to go in with them, because he definitely wants to be out in front, he wants to be attacking, he wants to be doing sustained damage so he can get his heals to the rest of the team. So maybe not a full warrior that they might be going here, but something perhaps like a Sonya. Obviously Thrall's banned out here, or some sort of Bruiser-esque hero. I would love to see an Arthas, even though I know after they nerfed Syndragosa, he has been picked up a lot more. But it'll be interesting to see what they pick here, as AWA does pick up the Rainer, which is going to be just really great at taking out Immortals, and obviously just a really survivable hero as well.
Mm-hmm. And we see, it looks like they have this Tassadar keyed in. We'll see if it ends up having, which is interesting because that's what Globe did last game, was had the dual support. And it looks like that's who it's, no, extra time. But yeah, they are going to lock in Tassadar, so we are going to see kind of, what Globe Gluttony did last game with those double supports, and which I think is strong on this map. Sustain is up if you can get enough shields from Tassadar. With the shields on everybody, it can mitigate a lot of damage, and it gives them the ability kind of to just hang out near the Immortals for longer.
Yeah, and like I said here, I really thought that Kharazim pick was going to really give them up for being a frontline here, and it looks like they are going to lock in that Leoric. So yeah, having that huge front line once again, it's a really good deterrent to having those Li Ming resets go off in a fight. So I think it's a really good pick against Li Ming. And I think, honestly, when I look at these two comps here, even though they do have Rainer and Tassadar Tyrande, I think Zagara, Jaina, and Kharazim, I don't know, it's going to be really close when it comes to seeing who can really out-damage the Immortals.
That is true. I do think that Globe has more Immortal damage.
Yeah, but see, it's really hard to calculate that for me, because I know, and man, I wish I had Dreadnought here. He'd be able to tell me really easily, but I'm just not sure how much Tyrande, her mark really brings into the equation, because, it's just so strong, and then Rainer having that much attack damage, and Li Ming possibly going a missile build here. Really, I'm just not sure who won this draft here. What do you think, May?
It's pretty even. I think that both teams are solid, but we're gonna have to see what happens on those Immortal fights. I think that we're not gonna see that much roaming. I mean, they have Tyrande and Raynor, but it's such a big map, Battlefield of Eternity. So we're not going to see those like quick ganks that are going to happen, and it's really going to come down to who wins the Immortals, who can last that Immortal fight the longest, who can stay in there and really push when the time comes. All right, so it looks like we're getting invited into this game.
Oh, really? That's really quick, huh? Man, they're ready to go, and I'm ready to go too, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, I don't know. We just saw it's really hard sometimes when you're a caster to say like, you know, which team is going to do better or things like that, because, you know, you just got done watching one of the teams you were casting, and Globe Gluttony just put up an excellent display. But, you know, you just always have to expect that. It's just going to be a really, really close matchup. Especially, I don't know, everybody drafted really smart in there, so I think it's going to be really great. And good to see you two half and half.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what alt Charism goes. I think that'll be interesting to see. He could go either or. He has, it's a lot of burst that they could you know, get someone down to half health, and with Jaina and Zagara, you know, a Hydralisk on something, a Frostbolt, they could really, you know, take someone down quickly. But Tassadar, you know, with all those shields, can really kind of make his team a little bit tankier, and so they can take a lot more damage. And, you know, Shadowstalk is a great disengage. And on Battlefield of Eternity too, Shadowstalk is really good because that disengage is so important.
Yeah, and I had to agree with you here. And once again, we talked about it last match. It all becomes how you work that team comp, because obviously they can get the fights lasting longer with that double support comp. But at the same time, you know, with Diablo, they're going to want to try to catch a person out and focus that damage with the Jaina and I don't know why I'm saying Kerrigan. I must want to say Kerrigan, but Zagara.
Kind of same. Well, I mean, not kind of same, but from the same game. And, you know, they hang out a little bit, Kerrigan and Zagara, right?
Yeah, they're best buds,
friends.
you know. They like to go shopping and stuff, so
Well,
totally.
Yeah. Does this match my kite in a shell? I don't know.
Oh my goodness, they have to make skins. You gotta go to Blizzard now and just say that skin. There's gotta be Kerrigan walking around with like a fashionable purse. See, I don't know much about fashion, so I couldn't even name drop anything at all. But yeah, guys, we are just waiting right now. We're waiting for everybody to load up into the game, and we are just about to get started. If you even want to right now, you can just start announcing some of the people on the team, what they're playing.
Sure, so let's start with Globe Gluttony. So we have Mr. Report on Diablo, Zero Max on Charism, Seraphonic on Zagara, Legend on Jaina, and Limvisionant on Leoric.
Yeah, and let me fix these for you guys here. But on the side of AWA, we have FC Ignition on Tassadar, Fat Meat on Johanna, fun name to say, Saber on Li Ming, Lucky Swan on Raynor, and Half and Half on Tyrande. So obviously on this map here, once again, I said the towers are kind of buffed, so we won't see very much of people trying to rush anything or anything like that, but you always kind of see these middle engagements where teams will try to set up some sort of gank bush. But who do you think has the better gank squad here? They have Diablo on one side, but Tyrande with a mark and a stun is also very effective.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say right off the bat. You'd think that, like right away you want to say that it's Tyrande and Raynor because that's pretty standard. But, you know, Charism can also be pretty ganky. Oh, we see the Invulnerable having to be used.
Yeah, exactly, but he does manage to get away from that. That was a very close call there.
Right, slippy Tassadar. It's really hard to lock down some of those skills on Tassadar because he does have the ability to just go, whoop, can't hit me, and run away.
Yeah, I mean, I can't count the amount of times that I've seen people chase a Tassadar to try to get a kill, and then he uses a double E and gets away, and then your entire team is wiped. Kind of annoying, but, you know, a really fun hero to play when you're on the right side of it.
So we see Fat Meat here on Johanna taking Knight Takes Pawn. Conjure is being taken on Tassadar. Oh, a little bit of a action going in. Condemn going out. Able to get a lot of people there from Globe Gluttony, but not able to make kill on it. Let's see. Empower, again, the Sentinel cooldown for Tyrande, and Seasoned Marksman for Lucky Swan on Raynor.
Yeah, and then on the other side we have Soul Feast on Diablo, getting that health regeneration. Transcendence, of course. If you're going to go Soul Heal Monk, you have to take that. Reconstitution on Zagara. Winter's Reach going for that Q build, possibly for Jaina, and Reanimation is being taken on Leoric. And yeah, you know, what we just saw in that last fight there a while ago in that small engagement was, man, Johanna with her pull on her W into an arcane orb by Li Ming. That does a lot of damage because that splash damage affects all of them. And it does look, unfortunately, like we do have a pause here, guys, and well, let's just all be respectful to them because, you know, we do have connection problems happen sometimes, and hopefully they'll be able to get back.
Lag happens.
Yeah, and so while we're continuous discussion though, but you know, I never really thought about that, why Johanna might creep back into the meta, but combining her pull into her shield into Li Ming damage when they're all grouped like that, that's quite a bit of damage and synergy, I'd say.
I agree. And so we do see Li Ming this game taking that mana regeneration, the power hungry, so that excuse me, it is the regeneration globes, not the cooldown. So it's more mana and 10% ability power for 20 seconds, so maybe a little bit more of a glass cannon. You mentioned earlier, like, the really damage-hungry assassins.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I'm thinking about things that we can just kind of talk about here is we think what kind of ultimates are going to be taken here. We have maybe the Entomb into the APOC combo, once again, doing quite a bit of work. They can catch everybody except, I'd say, for Tassadar, and Li Ming can blink out of it. But it does look like we are starting up the game again, guys, so you don't have to listen to us talk aimlessly for a long time. Yay!
So pretty standard. Stereophonic not really able to get that much push in on Tassadar. Tassadar actually really good at holding off that Zagara push. Condemned going out, catching Mr. Report. And, but that big front line for Globe, just, you know, with Leoric and Diablo.
Yeah, I do agree. That is taking a lot of damage here, but one thing you have to see, as long as Johanna doesn't go down here, which she does, that does kind of bring things down. You know, you always gain an advantage by attacking the Immortal first, because even if they are poking you and they're trying to damage you, you can keep getting that poke damage off on the Immortal and eventually win the race. But unfortunately, you don't want to lose anybody when you're doing that, which happened to Johanna there.
Right, and we just saw it was a really great timed flip by Mr. Report. He just put Johanna fat meat right there into the stun, and just having a little bit more time to get some damage in, and I'm not able to get away.
Yeah, and we do have the flip into trying to get a Tyrande stun on there in FC Ignition, but of course he's able to time his E, so he's able to avoid any of that damage and not have to worry about possibly getting taken down there. Once again, though, like I said, they're doing this poke damage here, but Zagara, meanwhile, working on the Immortal up top, so we do see that it is kind of working out because they're not getting enough poke here on this red Immortal.
Right, and it's because they have that big front line. AWA not really able to get in and do a lot of damage because both Diablo and Lyric in their face, pushing him off, not being able to get in range, and just, you know, giving Zagara time to just sit there, poke, roll Banelings at it, and Stereophonic, you know, it's 50-50 going into the split.
Yeah, and like I said, though, we will have to say, though, it does look like AWA is positioning a little bit faster, so they are going to get this Immortal. It can't be misstated, though, that Globe doing a really great job in trying to always make sure that they keep poking. Otherwise, that could have been like a half shield Immortal. So, you know, they did end up losing this trade, but it could have been a lot worse for them.
So we'll see what AWA does here. If they're gonna, looks like they're clearing a little bit of creep, trying to keep down on the vision that Zagara has. And we're seeing the same split. FC Ignition's gonna go and stop Stereophonic from pushing, and the rest of AWA is gonna push with that Immortal up in the top lane.
Yeah, and you always want to make sure you do that as the team. People who are watching this and are just getting into heroes, maybe, you know, it may seem like, oh, you want to go all in with the objective here, but EXP is such an important part of this game that even if you get the Immortal, you have to make sure that you're soaking all the EXP in the lanes, and these teams, knowing that, doing a very great job of that.
And, you know, this first Immortal is just so stinky anyway that you really don't want to lose out on that XP from the other lane. It's usually pretty good just to make sure that you're always doing that split push on that first one, because yeah, like you said, the XP is important, and half and half getting caught in that flip there, but Zero Max taking tons of damage, having a shield, and it is going to be...
Yeah, and Jaina getting taken down away as Kerosene here too, getting blown up here because those resets by Li Ming just able to make sure that she keeps on destroying the entire team. And right there, that's the power of Li Ming, guys. You cannot afford to make one mistake because she turns one mistake into a whole entire team of mistakes. Speaking of that, while we're talking about Li Ming, we do have her taking dominance. So, you know, I've been liking to take that talent in Hero League myself, and I've seen a lot of people take it when they do pick Li Ming because getting a health reset after a kill is just so big.
Yeah, And we see the magic missile damage increase too with Seekers. So if all of the magic missiles hit the same target, the third one does an additional damage.
Yeah.
So really going for that, like the greedy build there.
Yeah, well, I think what I saw, and I saw one Leeming take this when they were doing this. The reason they take that ability is because it allows them to actually do a lot more damage to the Immortal, because the Immortal's so big that it guarantees you are going to get all of those hits. So
makes sense.
So yeah, it seems like I thought that too when I first saw it, but yeah, for this particular map, it's a pretty decent talent.
Goes to the objective too. So Globe Gluttony able to hit 7 before this Immortal spawn, so they will go in with equal talents even though they are down a level. We see Diablo getting Soul Steal, Echo of Heaven from Karazin, Battle Momentum for Zagara, Frostbitten for Jaina, and Renewal for Leoric.
Yeah, then on the other side we have Kala's Embrace, Battle Momentum. Well, we already had the Seekers announced there, Evolution Overdrive and Battle Momentum, and we do see that Globe being quite aggressive here, trying to make sure that they can get as much damage here, and that does look like they're going to win the initial race here, but they have to really make a decision here, both of the teams, on what they want to do with these camps while they're going to try to DPS the rest of these Immortals down.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to just see who is willing to go in first.
Yeah, definitely, because it favors who's going to be more aggressive, but it's got to be controlled aggression, because you want to make sure that you get that damage on the Immortal, but position well, and it does look like AWA is taking a much more aggressive position, but it does cause Raynor to go down here, and half, also getting low, getting slowed by Leoric, who's using his Wraithwalk to go in. Johanna does go down and all that, and the W does go down from Leoric, and it does take Tyrande out, so a very big win here, 3-for-0 trade on the side of, sorry, just spaced on their name.
AWA. So yeah, Globe Gluttony is going to able to get this, had about a half shield up. That fight went about as different from the first team fight as it could have. It almost the exact happened. Mr. Rourke coming in, trying to get FC Ignition, but not able, just that invulnerable going off. And he is able to get behind the towers.
Yeah, but we do see, though, they might, never mind, it looks like they're going to hit level 10 about the same time. I was going to say that maybe a slight advantage to AWA, but just the soak that they just caught up right there. Looks like everybody's going to hit level 10 at the same exact time, which means it's going to be a really good team fight. Meanwhile, Saber getting caught out of position here, having to blink, but really kind of misplayed on blinking ahead there, and does get bursted down.
Yeah, getting clipped right into that blizzard. We see FC Ignition coming up, trying to stop this push from Globe Gluttony on the top tower. It looks like they're going to get this first keep, while the Immortal kind of works at the bottom too, and Seraphonic down there, trying to lay down a little damage as well. Yeah,
and definitely a good job here by Globe Gluttony to make sure that even though they were kind of losing the early game a little bit and had a little bit of a misplay on the first Immortal, keeping their heads together and saying, you know what, the game's not over till it's over, turning around that team fight. But as we see, it's only a level difference. Both teams doing a really good job soaking experience, and it's really anybody's game here. And while we're talking about that, I'm going to talk about some of these ultimates. We have Force Wall, Blessed Shield, Disintegrate, Hyperion, and Shadowstalk. So pretty much on the side of AWA, what you think they would take.
Yeah, it's pretty standard there. For Globe Gluttony, we see Apocalypse, Divine Palm, Devouring Maw, Water Elemental, and Entomb.
Really interesting that we do see the Water Elemental there rather than the Ring of Frost, because, it could set up some epic APOC plays, but we do see that Diablo getting really deep there, trying to go in. Karazin taking a lot of damage, but it does look like they're just going to Shadowstalk to disengage here.
Mm-hmm. And, Elemental being used there, we see that nice big Frosty the Snowman rolling around, but no real damage from it.
Yeah, meanwhile, we do have the camps pushing top over there with Leoric, who's putting a lot of pressure up there, so Globe Gluttony getting a little bit of advantage of maybe perhaps getting some more buildings and some more experience.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a little better matchup against Tassadar, is that Leoric instead of Zagara.
Yeah, and but it does look like they're going to be rotating here, probably to see if maybe they can do something to the front, maybe push a little bit more, but it looks like everybody's just kind of falling back, waiting for the Immortal to spawn, and it is spawning now.
Mm-hmm. And so, at 10, Globe picks up a lot of CC with Apocalypse and Entomb and Maw. They have a lot of CC right there.
Yeah, and they're both looking for those Bruiser camps there, making sure that they can take them at the optimal time, because we do know on this map, the Bruiser camps are so effective at pushing on their own that you have to really take them, as soon as possible when you're doing these Immortals.
Right, so Globe got theirs, AWA didn't, so it's going to be pushing in that lane while this Immortal fight happens. We see Legend trying to get some damage in. Limited Vision gets the intune on, the Apocalypse goes down as well.
Yeah, a little bit of inner synergy there when the APOC does go off and the Maul goes off at the same time, but they're going to have to recover from this because it was supposed to do a lot of damage there, but instead they're having to fall back here because they are taking a lot of damage. The Divine Palm does go out on Jaina, but she's out of range to trigger it, so everybody's going to just have to retreat here.
Right, maybe it's going to give AWA time to get this down to half in the switch. Globe's going to have to come back quickly and tap on those health fountains to get some resources to come back and fight this because they can't just let AWA get it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting turn of events here because, obviously Globe Gluttony went and they got that camp as soon as possible, but they decided instead of getting that camp, they're going to be aggressive and try to do damage, as we do see the Disintegrate go out and do some damage, but nothing too serious there. And, they managed to get a lot of Immortal damage, not the camp, but took quite the advantage when it comes to Immortals.
Mr. Report pretty low, getting caught in that condemn, a lot of damage going out on him. Oh, we saw the orb come back from Leeming, almost get him, but Johanna is the one who's going to go down. Limited Vision missing everybody on that Entomb.
Is slowing down the Tassadar here, who is going to get flipped, but he probably does will proc his E there, his Prescience. And he does go down. Tassadar finally does go down here, and it does look like they're going to have to retreat here. And even if they can DPS this, they have to keep protecting their Immortal, which is the problem whenever you aren't aggressive and you don't get any damage on it.
Right, so we see Limited Vision kind of just guarding it. He'll chase off anybody that comes in, but, Raynor's so much range. It looks like the stun's going to go off and he's going to walk away. Mr. Report coming down too. Yeah,
trying to be a little bit aggressive here, but they have to be careful to make sure with Li Ming being there, one death once again could turn into multiple deaths if they're not sure. So usually Leoric dying here would be okay to prevent this from happening, but dying here would be a very big bad thing to happen. The Disintegrate does go out, APOC going out to disengage, and Globe Gluttony does look like they win the Immortal here, so really great job.
They did have Zagara and Jaina has a lot of damage, and so they burned it down pretty quickly. But yeah, the time that it took for the rest of AWA to come back was really the deciding factor there. Those deaths really being the deciding factor in that Immortal.
So we have to see what they're going to do here. Obviously, it looks like they're going to just send Leoric here because they want to keep getting that EXP advantage, maybe get a talent advantage when the next Immortal spawns. So they are sending Leoric here and just having 4 people push this.
Right, and AWA has to send someone as well. They know that they just can't just let somebody sit in that top lane, get XP, push on that lane as well. So it's going to be pretty even. And
I think it's a really good strategy by Globe there because it's causing those 2 supports, that advantage that they have of having a double support, to just split up. So if anybody ever gets caught out, Tyrande has to be the solo healer who can do that. But Tassadar is coming down now. Perhaps maybe to see if they can get a fight here if they get out of position. But Globe realizing this, making sure they're not going to be in any sort of position to be caught.
Right, so Globe also up 2 levels. We saw level 13 talents get picked here a little while ago. Some interesting ones, I guess. Crushing Hope being taken by Limited Vision on Leoric. So extra damage on that Drain Hope if it lasts the entire time. Also Firestorm being taken by Diablo, so a little bit of extra damage on that Fire Stomp. And Burning Rage being taken by Johanna. I love that that talent. Just a little bit more damage in that front line. Prescience taken by Tassadar, so that Dimensional Shift automatically activates now when he is below 15% health, making him even slippier.
Yeah, and the one talent that's screaming out to me right now, which is really interesting, is taking Glass Cannon. That's a really, really risky ability to take on Li Ming. I mean, she's obviously can escape very well and try to get away, but you're having that limited blink range, you're not having that extended blink range, and you can just immediately get bursted down if you happen to get out of position because you have no health.
Yeah, I mean, but Saber's entire build is pretty damage-focused, damage-centric, don't you think? But from Power Hungry, I think, like, when he took Power Hungry at 1, I thought that he was going to take Glass Cannon at 13.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And we do have the Immortals respawning very soon here. And it's going to be interesting to see here when they're not on the same talent tier how they're going to handle this and the aggression of dealing with these Immortals.
Envision it putting out the Intune FC getting caught in. But it doesn't matter because Dimensional Shift is going to trigger. Let's see here. They're going to move up and get up on these Immortals.
Yes, you want to see that they want to take sort of an aggressive position here, and they really need a soak here to catch up on the talent tier, but They're still trying to poke to make sure they can't get that much of an aggressive push on this, but I don't know. It's kind of risky on their part here. They need to make sure that they don't get caught out here and fall even further behind.
Mr. Report going in, Heavy Apocalypse goes out. Hyperion getting put down, doing a little bit of damage. But AWA just really being forced out. Vision getting in front, just using that walk to, you know, really get some good positioning there. Kind of scare AWA also because they don't want him in that back line.
Yeah, but it does look like, you know, Globe, you know, they're going to have to try and do some damage to this Immortal here before they get to level 16 and take advantage of that, which they have here. And Zagara has to be really careful here. Stereophonic is getting a lot of damage done to him by this Johanna, and a follow-up by Li Ming here could be quite brutal.
Yeah, but Globe is going to actually get in there. Li Ming coming and trying to flank, but Mr. Report catching him in the flip. Oh, so much damage being taken by Saber. Is he going to? But I think he is going to get away.
Yeah, and they do have the Force Wall here to help too, and that's really great to help them disengage, but not really doing anything for them in the Immortal game.
Nope, they did get their level 16 talents though, so they are even on levels now and talents, which will help a little bit.
Yeah, meanwhile, everybody on the side of Globe Gluttony making sure that they're going back to tap and make sure that they can deal with this.
We see Raynor picking up Bullseye here, so they will get the stun on Penetrating Round. And on the other side for Globe, we see both Mr. Report and Limvision taking Imposing Presence so that the attack speed is slowed on both of them by 40%. Which is huge against Raynor, you know?
Yeah, definitely, because Raynor just, if you don't have anything that slows attack speed down, it's just a really huge deal here, and you don't want to have to deal with that at all because he already does so much damage on his own. Meanwhile, they're just trying their best that they can to just stop this poke, but, you know, between Zagara being able to lay down all of her abilities and Jaina as well, it's just taking slowly damage. But Mr. Report is caught out by that Force Wall, having to do APOC, and just immediately gets blown up by Saber.
Right, he is going to come back up, though, so his team is going to have some time to just sit on the Immortal and defend and wait for him to get back up. Limvision trying to, you know, be that front line right now. We see the Disintegrate go off and almost take down Zero Max. As Saber gets that flanking position, the flip goes out on Fat Meat, but he is able to get away. Lucky Swan taking some damage too from that Blizzard in the back line.
Yes, making sure they're doing really smart here, Globe Gluttony, taking a lot of poke damage here, but making sure that even though Johanna was in the middle of their team, not committing too much damage there because they didn't want to make sure they didn't blow all their cooldowns and leave them very susceptible to AWA. And now trying to go ham here is Diablo here. He's taking a lot of damage, and Li Ming, really close right there, hitting her W on him, and he does get the Divine Palm, but perhaps a little too early.
Oh yeah, Limvision getting very low too. We saw FC really peel for himself with that Force Wall, though. Diablo able to chase him, but the rest of the team not able to secure the kill on him because that Force Wall was up. Legend having to blow the Ice Block a little bit early and then getting taken down as soon as she got out of it anyway.
Yeah, and wow, if you can't see right now here, folks, the other Immortal right now is at 320 HP.
So
they really want to try to get to it and try to do some sort of damage, but they got to be careful because it's just going to keep feeding Li Ming. And Diablo says, you know what?
Report
I'm just going to go in and take it.
Doesn't care. It's going to grab it. The Diablo Immortal kill there.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the smart thing to do there. You want to do in that position because, you know, right now, look at the building advantage right now for Globe Gluttony. They're just so far ahead in forts, making sure none of their buildings have gone down. You could really change the tide here if one of those forts was taken down by Immortal. So they said, you know what? We're going to make sure we grab it. Ooh, that owl kind of hurt him a little bit, but make sure we grab this and keep the pressure on to AWA.
And Diablo able to kind of know that he can die because they still have that tank. Limvision can definitely still be that front line, so they can still push with this. Interesting that Legend is going bot, but maybe they're just going to let this Immortal do as much work as it can. Maybe push out this bottom lane because they don't have the full team there, so trying not to get caught in a bad situation, push too far up and not able to get back.
Not so sure about that call, but you know, they didn't have Diablo, so I can kind of understand it. But maybe if they would have got there a little bit earlier on the rotation and did a little bit of damage to that fort, that keep there, they could have taken it down. But, you know, you can't blame a team when they want to take the safe route here. They have the advantage. Why throw it away, you know? They have a total building advantage right now.
There's a lot of camps, too, on the board right now, so they could, you saw Globe grab that bottom camp. I think that we'll probably see them grab maybe top as well, and then save that side camp for when the Immortals pop up.
Yeah, maybe, but they'll definitely want to have to be careful of the other team trying to maybe possibly steal that camp or whatnot, because we did see AWA pick it up very early because they knew that, it's going to be a long time for Immortals to spawn here, and you don't want to give up those bruisers, especially whenever if your team happens to go down and they're able to push with them. But you're right, it does look like Global is just not going to do it right now.
I mean, yeah, they've timed it pretty well. Lim Vision putting down the Entomb FC. Let's see, the Maul goes out and grabs him. Apocalypse going down as well.
Yeah, the APOC a little bit later than they wanted to. Minister Report taking a lot of damage here from the Leeming. The Disintegrate going out. Limited vision here right now. Having to be very careful. He does get not the Ancestral, but the Divine Palm does go off on him. So, really big trouble here for Globe Gluttony, but they did manage to not lose anybody from that fight.
Yeah, but a lot of ultimates being used as well.
Yeah, they have to be really careful about that, because I know they keep trying to do this combo here of landing the Maw and then trying to do the APOC into it, but they haven't quite, it seems like, maybe worked on it in scrims here, because they've just been a little bit off and not getting those stuns off when they really need to.
Just a little bit early, it seems like. Not enough damage to go down where that Maw can come out and really almost, finish off people or get them to a low enough point. See both teams going on offense on these Immortals first, running it to the half and the flip. We see in the top lane there is the Bruisers pushing.
Yeah, as well as the bottom lane, which did actually lose that fort down there.
Right.
So perhaps, AWA making a late game push here to really turn the tides of this fight here. That camp was kind of ignored. I said it was taken early, but nobody really dealt with it, and now they're kind of paying the price for that.
Definitely, they had to go and rotate and stop it. And I would guess that AWA actually got that camp to contest the camp that was pushing on Globe's side, so that they wouldn't have to worry about it. They know if two camps down there means that they're going to duke it out together, and it's not a big deal. But Mr. Report going in a little bit, not low on health, but not topped off. We'll see if that, has a difference. Diablo can take a lot of damage pretty quickly against this Li Ming. We see it right there.
Yeah, we do see that they were really smart here to maybe do a little bit of damage here and maybe back out and try to think about how they want to re-engage this, because they saw that they had to rotate and take that Bruiser camp out. Otherwise, they would have lost that keep. So
right, and AWA with Storm talents now, they did hit 21st, so they do have that talent advantage above Globe.
Yeah, so this is going to be really hard to fight them there, because those level 20 talents just make such a difference there. They are trying to see if they can fend off as much as possible, though. But like you said, they just have to just hope that AWA makes a mistake in the way they engage, and they can capitalize on that and maybe hit 20 off a few picks, because it's not going to be trickle for them right now. So we do have Storm Shield, Indestructible, Temporal Flux with that slow doing a lot of work, the Bolt of the Storm for Raynor, and Hunter Swiftness going down for Tyrande, so just a lot of really, really strong talents going down, and they're going to lose this poke war if they just kind of sit around. If they think they're going to lose this Immortal, you think they might want to send somebody to soak to 20.
They might. It probably is the better choice, because they are losing this poke war. It is really not going to... Only a few more orbs have to come in from Li Ming for that Immortal to be finished, and they just don't... They have to get into that back line and make something happen. The Drain Hope going out and doing a little bit of damage. Blizzard's going down as well.
Yeah, they're trying to use their bodies to soak as much as damage as they can, but those missiles hurt way too much in the orb splash damage, and they will lose this Immortal.
Yeah, we just saw that orb come in there and just clean it up.
No.
Yeah, they don't have... Globe is lacking a little bit there on the range. Just the purely range damage, which you wouldn't think so, because they have Zagara and Jaina, but yeah, they lost that poke war. Li Ming just doing more damage from afar, and Globe not being able to contest.
Yeah, and now we're having a 24-minute Immortal coming down here, so this thing is going to hit like a truck. And they have to be really careful here. Once again, they're not level 20. They need to make sure they're not engaging a fight, but they do get the level 20 talents here, so hopefully they're able to engage. The Blessed Shield does go down. Mr. Report casting APOC here, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit too many people here. Zero Max taking a lot of damage. Gets Divine Palm
on himself. This Snowman throwing snowballs. The Maw goes out as well. Mr. Report just on Saber, just following him, not letting him do anything, but he is going to go down. It's really hard just to fight against that. Li Ming...
Yeah, because, I mean, he was like, I got you, and then the rest of the team was like, maybe we'll follow up and, be able to kill her, but then, as soon as that happened, she got the health reset off that kill, and you just can't touch her after that.
Right. Half and F coming in, trying to get the stun. Vision having to walk away. And it looks like this keep is going to go down as well. The Mortal's almost down. So Globe should be able to finish it off. But AWA still just really aggressive.
Yeah,
Looks
there's two heroes down on the side of
Globe.
Globe. So they want to do this. They want to finish this. They know that they can get a few Leeming things done here. But this could be just the bad call here. But it does look like the Globe Gluttony is taking a lot of damage here, and the core is going down. It's at 60% right now. And Limited Vision is taking a ton of damage as well.
The Divine Palm goes off. Half and half taking a lot of damage too. Half and half going to go down into Stereophonic. But it doesn't matter. It is over. AWA just, wow. Kind of coming from, not that they were very far behind for the whole game, but definitely coming from behind, that last Immortal being the decisive thing in this game.
Yeah, that was just an amazing fight there, but you know, it's one of these things we look at it's 9 kills to 9 kills. Such a really close game. Everybody doing a really great job in this game. It just came down to a few decisions on whether they needed to attack, when they needed to take camps, and just the Immortal and the push being able to do things. And, you know, Li Ming's win rate right now in this tournament is 100%.
And, you know, I would say that, you know, maybe in past times she hasn't been, like, a deciding factor. But I think that, you know, in this game, that Li Ming really had a big impact.
Yeah,
we saw in that last Immortal that it was just so much damage. We saw there that just the ability to reset and able to, you know, get a little bit of distance from Mr. Report and not being, you know, going down Diablo right there at the end. That was huge.
Yeah.
Taking out Diablo too, you know, not even it looked like Saber was going to go down there, but that wasn't the case. Mr. Report went down instead.
Yeah, there was definitely just a lot of things to do, and you know, it's one of those times here as a caster that you don't want that kind of match to happen at this one because it's only best of one, and you really would like to see a best of 3 out of those 2 teams. But, you know, unfortunately, that's a GG well played there for Globe, and looking forward to see how AWA does in the rest of the matches. And now, guys, while we're just trying to get you the next draft out right now, we're going to go to a short break, and we'll get right back to you. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are about to start our next draft here, which has gotten a little started already. Actually, it's going to be the match between Excelsior and North American Rival, and we do see the Li Ming getting banned out this time, and she does have a 100% win rate so far. But we do see Rhaegar and Jaina picked up. What are you thinking about this, May? And it's sorry about that. I think she might be having some difficulties here with her mic, but we do have, like I said, the Zagara picked up, but we have Lunara picked up on the side of Excelsior, and Lunara lately has been really a force to be reckoned with. She's doing tons of damage. She's able to really sustain that, and she does a surprising amount of burst whenever she pops her W that a lot of assassins don't see coming. Oh, I'm sorry. We're I'm sorry about that. I think I accidentally. She didn't know that we were going live here, but May is back here with us.
Thanks. Yeah, and I'm back with you with a draft in progress too. Look how much I deliver.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, May. And yeah, I'm working on a 2 mic setup sometimes, so sometimes I forget which mics that I muted. So I was communicating her through the other mic. So I apologize about that, guys. And we do see North American Rival pick up Kel'Thas, which is an interesting pick because a lot of people are saying that Kel'Thas is a lot weaker after the nerfs to his stun and just his arcane shield as well. What do you think about the way Kel'Thas stands in the draft and in this meta?
I think that Kel'Thas is still good. He still has enough damage put out. He still has, still has the CC. And, there's always that Q build. Kel'Thas that we hear is going to be the next big thing. So we'll see if we see it today.
Hey, I laugh and I joke about it. I really do like the Q build on Kel'Thas, and I know Faye is really good off of cognitive, and she does an amazing job with that Kel'Thas Q build. That sometimes you just don't see that burst damage coming, and you think, oh well, I'll just step out of the double Q, but you get stunned, and then all of a sudden you're deleted. And we do see Excelsior pick up that Johanna.
Yeah, Faye is the Kel'Thas queen, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And we have to see, we have the front line here, but we don't have a healer from Excelsior, so I would think Excelsior might want to pick up a healer now. And once again, I haven't seen it yet, but I know Medic is just such a strong hero, even though...
Well, no, she's banned. She's banned here.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. My bad.
Yeah, so it's... Morales and Li Ming were North American Rivals bans. They look like they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with any of the Li Ming or Morales shenanigans, which you can't blame them there. On the other side for Excelsior, they banned Zagara and Diablo. So interesting bans there, but both of those heroes really, really strong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that means that they're probably left with Uther here because we really haven't seen the popularity of Malfurion go up. But, Tyrande, once again, people just valuing that solo heal Tyrande or maybe partnering her with Tassadar again, but,
Nope.
not really seeing Uther or anything like that anymore.
We could see that. They have enough damage, I think, with Jaina and Lunara. They have, a lot of slow on the Excelsior side. And we still, last 2 picks for North American Rival are going to be Greymane, which we haven't seen yet ourselves, and we both, thought there was going to be quite a bit of Greymane today, and Muradin, who also haven't seen that much of today, but is always a really popular tank.
Yeah, I mean, Muradin obviously getting the nerfs to the Avatar, and people are like crying a river saying that Muradin is like such a terrible front line and he can't do anything anymore because of that. But, he still has the tools to basically be able to jump in and stun a target and make sure that it gets deleted, especially when you have a Greymane, a Kel'Thas, and a Thrall to back you up right there. And Greymane, really popular, especially on the EU scene, and making his way around the NA as well. And I just really think he's such a strong hero that can burst down some of these squishy targets really, really fast.
Mm-hmm. And any, hero that has the ability to morph between melee and range is always going to do well and can be pretty OP. And I always like watching Greymane. I think that he's good. He's really, hard to play against. Does a lot of damage and chases forever. It's hard to get away from Greymane. And, you said this with Excelsior that maybe they were going to pick up another support, and they did. They were going to round out the rest of their team with a Kerzim.
Yeah, it's really kind of concerning here when I look at these 2 comps, though we'll have to see how they play it. We see that North American Rival here with just Muradin and Thrall with having Sundering here and having the slow totem from Rhaegar. They have a lot of control in fights, so they can disengage. But, the front line right here, Johanna. How well can Johanna be able to peel off the Greymane, Thrall, and Rhaegar, and also the Kael'thas damage? It's going to seem to be really tough. Like, Tyranda's going to have to nail a lot of her stuns, and I think Karazim is going to definitely have to go Divine Palm in this game.
Yeah, I have received... Okay, let's see here. So I think I got you in the game. We have to move you to Observer. So you think Karazim's going to go Divine Palm here?
Yeah, most definitely. Even though, you can get some value out of it maybe when the Muradin jumps in, but like they just have so much ways to get to you, and Johanna only has so much peel that she can do here. And we're trying to get me here on the team, but I'm an observer, so.
You could always play.
Oh gosh, no team would really want me on that. I promise you guys, you don't want that. But now, May, since you set up the draft here, did you actually happen to know the team captains here?
It is Templar, and actually Spartan is the one who invited me. So I think they're getting it straightened out right about now.
Just want to make sure I have the team names right. Let me get that sorted out for you guys really quick. Yeah, Ben the Magic J is on Excelsior. Okay, sorry about that, folks.
And the Magic J, yes.
So yeah, like I said though, it's just, I don't know. I love Johanna. Johanna is like one of my favorite heroes. I played her when she came out so much. I have her at like level 12 or something like that. But just, she, against the Greymane and Thrall, it's going to be really hard to peel. But Lunara, she's always underestimated. She's really powerful. She has a slow, and she has a ton of just sustained damage.
Yeah, and I think if they have some good synergy between Lunara and Jaina, they have the opportunity to put a lot of damage down. There's the putting down that slow and that bleed into Blizzard is going to be a lot of damage. So if they can kind of land those two things together, they could do a lot of damage to Kael'thas and maybe even if Greymane chases, they both have the ability to kind of peel for themselves with slows. So we'll see.
Okay, so if you want to start talking about some of the teams and who's playing what there?
Sure. So we're going to have Ben the Magic J on Johanna, Ciari on Jaina, Mr. Frigger on Karazim, Cruel Alloy on Tyrande, and Rubies on Lunara.
Okay, and on the other side, we are going to have Spartan on Muradin, Synod on Greymane, Tricky on Kael'thas, Templar 631 on Rhaegar, and Heat on Thrall. And we are just about to get this match set up, guys, for you. Alright, and this is one of my favorite maps here. I love Curse of Hollow because it's not just a map about taking objectives. While it can be strong to get a curse, it's all about how you rotate and how you make sure that you can test these objectives at the right time.
Right, objectives are really important on this map, so...
Like the boss, that's just like one of the most key things here is when you take that boss. A lot of people will just in the very beginning of the game when they think they need the curse that they have to just take the boss immediately at that time, but sometimes you can use it to make sure you get a curse, or you can use it if you know you're going to get cursed, as we saw in a previous game that we casted earlier.
Yeah, that boss push in conjunction with a curse is a huge deal. And the boss just pushes forever because he's not taking any damage, so it usually can end up being taking that keep. Yeah. All right, so we can look at talents a little bit before any of the big stuff happens. We see Knight Takes Pawn for Johanna, Conjurers for Jaina, Transcendence, so the heal for Karazim, Empowering, again, the Sentinel cooldown, and the Nature's Toxin is going to reveal enemies in natural perspective.
Yeah, and then on the other side, we have, for Muradin here, he's taking the Reverberation. We have Perfect Aim, which is pretty much standard on Greymane now. A lot of people like to go that Q build. Fell Infusion for Kael'thas, which is kind of unusual because I know a lot of people still love the Mana Addict. And Rolling Thunder on Thrall, along with the Electric Charge going on Rhaegar.
Yeah, maybe just worried about the stun from Tyrande, getting him that flare, having the ability to just heal yourself a little bit more, stay alive a little bit longer on Kael'thas. Tricky getting caught in that condemn, and the stun right there, and it's not going to be enough to help him there. and he is going to go down.
I feel like you kind of jinxed him there, May. You were like,
I
surely
did.
he'll get stunned and he could use that and live, and then, well, you know, not so much.
No. I guess if you're killed while you're stunned, you don't have time to burden heal.
Yeah, and they are having a really good roam squad going out with this Tyrande, who does end up marking the Thrall here, who does get stunned. The Owl does go out to do some extra damage, and it does look like Jaina can do it, but wow, Rhaegar, with the effective peel there, really saving that Thrall.
Yeah, definitely stopped that flank from happening. Ciara coming to get down, put the Blizzard down, and finish off Heat on. But yeah, 2 really great stuns so far from Cruel Ally, really making those plays on Tyrande.
I remember the good old days when you could just run past a Rhaegar, and now you have to worry about him just kind of destroying you himself.
Which I guess is good. Rhaegar was always good, but having kind of those more interesting playing supports, I think, is always good for the game. Just a little bit more utility and versatility from all those guys,
Once again,
not just the
support main guys.
So I like it. Brightwing main too, so you know I love that shenanigan healer stuff.
And right now we do have level 4 talents coming out here. We do have a Thunderburn going out, another Q buff going out for Draught Overflow for Greymane, another Wind going out for Kael'thas, Stormcaller for Rhaegar, and Ride the Lightning for Thrall, going that full lightning build.
And on the other side, Laws of Hope for Johanna, Snowstorm to increase radius on the Blizzard for Ciari, Overtake from Karazim, Pierce from Cruel Alloy, and Nimble Whist on that Lunara.
Yeah, now we do have this next tribute spawning bottom, so it's going to be one of those tributes that probably everybody is going to go to it and make sure, so it's going to be a 5-on-5 fight here. And it does look like the blue team right here, though, is in position first, and they are going to try to get this pick on Thrall here, who's taking a ton of damage, and the dash is probably going to be enough to kill him, but no, Wind Fury does get him, and a Rhaegar Q does heal him up.
Spartan taking a lot of damage here, getting hit by that Blizzard and the bleed.
Yeah, meanwhile, they're just kind of, like I said with Lunara, that sustained damage, especially in the early game here, where the healer's manas are kind of limited here, and the cooldowns are going. But Heat On right here just really went the wrong way and separated from his team and got punished there.
Yeah, he chased a little bit too far on Tyrande there and got caught on the wrong side of that rock. But Spartan is going to be able to come in and stop that cap on that tribute.
Yeah, and at some point they're going to have to realize, you know, they want to try to stop this and do this, but they can't afford to take any more deaths or they're just going to fall further behind. And
right.
As I say that, Greymane goes down, Rhaegar goes down, and the rest of them wisely are going to retreat here.
Right, we saw both Greymane and Rhaegar kind of come in there, try to do some damage, help that front line, and just take, you know, going in Blizzard is a lot of damage. Like I said, that Blizzard and the bleed. The Nature's Toxin doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, you know, they really could have benefited there of soaking, but, you know, both teams didn't really get too much soak out of that right there, so actually they are pretty close in experience-wise, so, you know, in North American rivals here, not having too much to worry about. They can still come back from this. Hitting
7 right after. We see battle momentum getting picked up on Excelsior's side from Tyrande and Johanna, Frostbitten on Jaina, Echo of Heaven for Karazim, and Nature's Calling. So increased damage on that Nature's Toxin to non-heroes. So hope with a little bit of that lane clear.
Yeah, and Muradin's going to take battle momentum as well. And Cindery Elixir is going to go on Greymane. You know, and of course Kael'thas going to take Fission Bomb. Follow through on Thrall, and really Rhaegar hasn't picked his talent yet here for level 7, perhaps holding off and seeing, maybe discussing it over with his team and deciding what he wants to take here. And he does take Blood and Thunder to reduce basic ability cooldowns every time he attacks with the wolf. Meanwhile, we have Spartan taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Excelsior came a little bit late. Cruel Ally was able to stop the cap on the tribute with the Sentinel, but, you know, Excelsior a little split.
Yes, and Heat On taking a lot of damage as well as Muradin. That poison just going off on here, and Spartan going to go down from it as well. Sind going to have to get here out of there as fast as possible to make sure he doesn't go down, and it does look like it's going to be the second tribute for the blue team.
Yeah, we saw Ben the Magic J taking a lot of damage there. It almost looked like it was going to go the other way and he was going to go down. But, you know, everyone's focusing on him a little bit too much, giving both Ciari and Ruby's enough time to do the damage and, you know, work on that back line so that North American Rivals has to back out and loses that tribute.
Yeah, just really just kind of overstaying on some of these fights here, and just that Tyrande stun and that Tyrande mark just proving to do just a ton of damage and influencing the fight right now. Meanwhile, we have bottom here. Nobody really doing bottom. They're trying to get that camp here, the bruiser camp, really fast, but they're going to lose some of that soak here, and that's letting, you know, them stay in the game here. Excelsior probably not capitalizing as much as they could on soak.
It looks like they are going to... Well, they're not. They're going to leave this camp. Probably better just to leave it and try and cap it right when the objective comes up. They could even go for boss, then the next objective.
Lunar getting stunned here, getting a living bomb thrown on her, but, you know, it does go. Gets out pretty easy.
Prance away.
Prance away. That's what you gotta love about Lunar. It's almost like every single time. You don't have to backwalk or anything like that. You just keep prancing, and that's enough to set off your team, your opponents.
Mm-hmm. So this third tribute comes up. It will be a curse if Excelsior is able to grab it.
And Excelsior does have ults. We're going to see Blessed Shield, Water Elemental, Divine Palm, Shadow Stalk, and that Thornwood Vine to just once again just establish the dominance of poking people off of tributes here.
Yeah, more damage, more damage.
Exactly.
And it's working pretty well, so...
Yeah, and, you know, right there, you know, they didn't have level 10 right there. So smartly, North American Rivals making sure that they don't overextend, that they don't die here, because, you know, there's no reason to fight in ultimates when you don't have ultimates. Mm-hmm. And speaking of ultimates right here, we'll try to discuss that and just try to make sure that a team fight doesn't happen here, but it looks like it is happening. We have the Condemned going to the Tyrande stun, and the Jaina absolutely getting deleted before the Ancestral Healing can... my bad. And Cruel Alloy trying to retreat here, and it does look like it's going to be a 0-for-nothing trade on the side of North American Rivals.
Yeah, Sin, you know, went in and did a lot of damage. And he took a lot of damage as well, and so we did see that Ancestral go off on him. But as it was happening, it just gave, you know, him a little bit more time to take down Jaina.
Yeah, and it does look like right here they're just trying to make sure that they get some of these camps here, so when they respawn, they put some sort of presence on the map. But, you know, this is allowing Excelsior to push down this, but they're kind of overextending a little bit here.
Yeah, it is a 2-3, but it looks like it's getting pushed back. Templar coming in. It looks like we're going to see a 4v4 up here. Templar getting pulled back on the Condemn, isn't able to get back into Ghost Wolf and get away fast enough. So North American Rivals down their healer right now. Sin trying to do some damage, but they are going to lose this keep.
Yeah, and honestly, right there, you know, I didn't even get to check the ultimates because we had an engagement there, but I could see that from that fight there. We do have Playmaker being taken by Muradin, so this could be some interesting team fights that we see here today. Go for the Throat, Phoenix, Ancestral Healing, and Sundering. So normal everywhere else, but, you know, Haymaker, not really taking that often.
I like Haymaker. I think that it actually gets underused because being able to throw somebody in that back line is huge. It gives Greymane some time to take somebody down without having to go fully engaged in the other team.
Yeah, the only problem sometimes that you have with Haymaker is that, you know, you have to be you have to be much more careful with the Muradin because you don't have that avatar health that comes with it. So, you know, you don't have the survivability. But, you know, one of the other things that's underrated about it, as we do see a team fight happening here, Sundering is going to have to be used to make sure that he gets disengaged here. Ice Block popped here by, you know, a well-timed Divine Palm to save him.
The Condemned being able to grab Tricky, so much damage going down. He's got the fleet enemy, he's going to go down. Spartan in the back line as well, having to Dwarf Leap out. But Ciari does go down as well. We see Murden there. Just staying a little bit too long in the back line, taking that damage from the Nature's Toxin, and, you know, also from Cruel Alloy, the Hunter's Mark. But you were saying before about how with Haymaker, not having that avatar, not being able to, you know, have the defensive ability and able to get away, but they have the two supports on the team.
It's true.
No, it's the other side. I'm wrong. But they do have... They have Ancestral, but you don't want to use that necessarily on the tank sometimes, and they're probably going to need it for Greymane. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the defensive would have been a little bit better there for them.
It's not necessarily that it's better or not. You just have to approach it a little bit differently. And like I said, a lot of people, what they don't understand about Haymaker, what it can be used for, is not only can it be used as to knock somebody into your back line, but, you know, if somebody's trying to dive into your front line, or like you'll have a Karazhan that's trying to attack you to heal, you can use that ability to knock him away or knock that target away that is trying to engage on your team. But we do see the next tribute going down here, and both teams just trying to poke each other off and trying to fill each other out and see who gets out of position first.
We do see the Wisp come down and get killed right away.
Yes, the Wisp, you know, you always have to watch out. And the Sundering does go out, but perhaps it really didn't look like it hit anybody too much. The Divine Palm going out too as well a little bit early. Phoenix going out, and a lot of damage going out from Lunara.
Yeah, Sin taking a lot of damage there from Lunara. And actually, North American Rivals having to kind of retreat here. Tricky about to go down as well.
Yeah, the Chain Bomb doing a lot of work, but unfortunately, just because of that support that they have here, the double support, just making sure that they can survive through that. And of course, Lunara also just able to just do a lot of damage spread out to the entirety of the team, which, you know, it's hard for Rhaegar to keep up with right now, it seems. Ooh, Sin
And
being close.
Cruel Alloy doing, you know, a lot of damage for Excelsior.
Woo! She's really trying to be aggressive there and almost got the send with the stun.
Right, and you know, he took battle momentum, so the ability cooldowns are reduced by all the basic attacks. So lots of Hunter's Marks, lots of flares.
Yeah, they thought they were going to do boss here, but then they just kind of backed off.
Mm-hmm.
I grow tired of your petty
Which is interesting because now it does look like they're going to go, the side of Excelsior is going to go do their boss, so how are they going to respond to this?
Well, they have to, I mean, the tribute is down there, so it's probably in their best interest to stop the boss and then cap this, as far as North American Rivals is concerned. Excelsior probably doing the smart thing, get these bosses off the map, they have the time, they don't need to worry about the tribute right now. It'll just put it at 1 even Stevens for the both teams, and they will, if they push with this, they could get that keep. They are going to grab the camps right now, too, just to put a little bit more pressure that North American Rivals has to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, it's okay to give up a tribute when you're just absolutely taking those bosses off the map, being able to push and perhaps, you know, threaten a keep right now. They are ahead in the talent tier.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, 2 levels and a talent tier.
Right now, though, the Phoenix going out and just trying to zone here, trying to put a lot of damage on the boss, and the cocktails as well. So they're able to do a lot of poke damage and perhaps maybe take this boss out before it can get this keep, but I'm not sure. It looks like they might try a hard engage here.
Yeah, and Phoenix is so good for that kind of creating space, but Jaina having to use the ice block, not able to get out, getting Haymaker down, the palm goes off, and it is enough to save her. On the other side, still Hedon taking tons of damage from Lunara.
Yeah, and it does look like Cinda's going to go down as well, and Spartan is going to have to Dwarf Toss out of there to make sure he doesn't get taken out as well, but he does get sucked in by Kadem, and the poison damage goes off as well, and it looks like they're just going to try to end the game right now.
Yeah, this might be it. And, you know, the split there was so good. You see, you know, Excelsior really just splitting North America into 2, kind of splitting the damage.
I imagine you're kind of laughing a little bit right there because he just ancestraled himself at full health.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you gotta love, you know, when people know it's a good sport, you know, when they lose here, they're just playing around, knowing that they really had a really good game there, and it was closer than it looked, but once they got ahead on the talent tier here, and like you said, that team fight was just split up, and they saw blood, and they were like, you know, let's finish this game right here, right now, and they just finished it right there with that boss.
Yeah, you saw Spartan got caught up top. And then the rest of the team was just down below, and like Lunara and Jaina just putting out the damage, and Tyrande too. I mean, let's check these stats again, but Tyrande most hero damage right there for Excelsior, which you don't. I mean, and everyone really close. Everyone was in with 2K, but that Cruella doing so much damage on that Tyrande.
Yeah, just really positioning very well, making sure that got the most out of the mark. And you know, sometimes with Tyrandas, you know, they just want to mark and they just want to stun and they just kind of back off, but getting those auto attacks in to do that key amount of damage can really do a lot of work and really turn the fight in your favor. Greymane doing a
with
ton
battle
of damage.
Momentum too, you know, like if you want to do that damage, taking battle momentum is really key to that, because all those base attacks that you're doing just help put everything, you know, up on cooldown more and more, so able to get more stuns in the same amount of time.
Yeah, and it was just, like I said, it was a really good game, and you know, I was worried that Johanna wouldn't be able to peel enough, but you know, they didn't even really worry about that. They were just super aggressive with their comp, and Johanna was just setting up all the damage from Tyrande, Jaina, and Lunara, who once again, you know, Lunara not really, at least when you look at Hero League, not really picked a lot by a lot of people, at least when you're, you know, not unless you're at the really high MMRs, but you know, she's underrated for sure.
Definitely.
And we are going to try to get the next match to as soon as possible, but in the meantime, We are going to go on a short break while we're doing that, so we'll be right back, folks. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. And we do have the next draft coming up, and it's going to be RFS versus Excelsior. And let's see, we do have Blackheart's Bay and Sky Temple being the first bands here.
Nobody wants to play Blackheart's Bay, it seems like. Which I don't blame them. I hate that map. But
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody really likes it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but I will laugh one day if we see a Garden of Terror, which just got banned, ever happen in a competitive game.
that, I guess, as well is one of those maps that nobody really likes to play.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know personally about you, but I love to play tag with the Terror. That's like my pastime. I just get so overjoyed when I see that map.
We're also going to see Tomb of the Spider Queen and Dragonshire off the board. So, of the three that are left, what would you like to see, Bleedies?
Well, I would like to see Towers of Doom because, that's the map that I haven't analyzed the most as a caster. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot of different things and a lot of different strategies that I've seen how teams do that. And it's just something we don't see all the time. But, I would not be doubtful if we see Curse Hollow pop up here because Towers of Doom is not a map that everybody is always comfortable with yet.
And it looks like you're right. Towers of Doom is going to get banned, and it is going to be another Cursed Hollow.
Don't sound too excited there.
I like this map. I think that it's well-rounded. It's probably one of my favorite maps. So I like watching it. There's bosses, there's team fights, there's laning, there's everything that you need for a good HOTS game.
And we do have Zagara being banned out first because, she is really just a really strong laner in general and the vision, especially around the boss areas and around maybe some of those ganking areas and tributes is so useful. Just a good hero in general. And Falstad.
Which makes sense. Falstad, with just the mobility on this map, is really huge. You can stay in lane a little bit longer and then come to tributes. It's not surprising that they would want to take that off the board.
And now we have a Jaina being first picked by Excelsior. And, Jaina is just an outstanding damage right now. She has great poke with her Q and just all of her spells in general. So very good at fighting around those tributes.
And we also see the Bark for RFS, a little bit of Ray God.
Yeah, I know right now. All those Rhaegar fans are going to come out on Twitch and do their barks, post their little dog memes here. And we do have Li Ming, so we have the two, debatable strongest heroes in the game right now, as people would say, with Rhaegar and Li Ming. So RFS just opting to draft some really, really strong heroes here.
If it's not broke, don't need to fix it, right?
Well, no, I think most players would actually think the opposite, especially if you go to the Reddit and you check the front page. But we'll have to see what Excelsior picks up here. And we do have the Lunara being picked up. And it looks like a frontliner here, which is going to be possibly Johanna.
And so, pretty similar to what we saw last game from Excelsior. And yeah, again, if it works, why fix it? That Condemn just able to bring people in, and then the Blizzard and Nature's Toxin going down, just doing a lot of damage. So we'll see if that works for him again this game.
Yeah, and they do ban out the Tyranido, perhaps seeing how well the Tyranido was played in the last game, maybe hearing it from word of mouth, or maybe their coach is watching or something like that, but they decide that they don't want to deal with that. We've actually seen Tyranido almost in every single game I think we've casted tonight. Mm-hmm. And, perhaps seeing that they want to ban out a frontline here and make them play what they make is wow, ETC,
ETC is strong. And we also see Illidan, which is something that we don't see all the time. I love seeing Illidan. He's fun. Illidan's a fun hero. I'm excited to see how it works out in this. Just those engages on the tributes, maybe trying to force between ETC and Illidan and Rhaegar as well, maybe forcing Excelsior off the tribute by just being really in their face.
Yeah, though right now RFS definitely doesn't have that much poke to go off of here because right now they only have Li Ming as their only ranged character. So that could spell some problem around tributes, but like you said, Rhaegar with Illidan right now, going to be really strong. He's going to be able to stick to heroes and use that lightning shield to its full advantage. And right now, ETC was probably what they felt was the strongest tank pick to pick up here, but Johanna, if she's smart, she can really prevent a lot of those moshes from happening.
My babe Brightwing getting picked up by Excelsior. Really good. Brightwing's a really great Illidan counter. There is that. We'll see if that has something to do with if that'll help, because that poly going in, able to burst that burst whoever's poly down if they do go that route at 16. And then also just being able to kind of mitigate a lot of that Illidan damage. If you time the polymorph quick enough, you can kind of save a lot of people on your team.
Yeah, and we definitely know not only you, May, but we definitely know quite a few people here that are going to be really excited to see this Brightwing pick here. And I have to agree with you, because not only does it stop the Illidan here and have a really good counter to put him in the middle of the team with a disengage and a really good disable, but also, if you don't catch Brightwing, you don't catch Johanna, both of those people can interrupt Mosh very easily, especially Brightwing since it's targeted.
Yep. And if it gets late game, you can go rewind and you can have it for both people. Why not just keep everybody polymorphed all game long?
All the polymorphs, you say, huh? And
All
they
the
do have the last pickup of Greymane, so this is really interesting, and this is, once again, once you get to the top tier of, even the amateur scene here, the games become all about positioning and how you handle your comp, so we do have a solo heal Brightwing here, so they're going to have to really play around that, and RFS going for the full in on Illidan and picking up Abathur as the last pick.
My face right there. Pure shock. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think we were going to see it, but Abathur Illidan. Who would have thought that we would see that?
Well,
today?
Abathur, I didn't expect Illidan, I will definitely say that, even though he had been picked, I believe, in the EU finals today of Enter the Storm. But Abathur, just, he's really strong on Curse Hollow, because if you play it right and you make sure that you just kind of fight at the tributes while Abathur can soak, you can get really far ahead on EXP. But here's the issue that I have with this comp. It's that RFS wants to keep those fights going on for as long as possible and poke off Excelsior, but they just don't have the range. Like, they have Li Ming, and that's it. I guess an Abathur mind as well.
Right. They're going to have to be melee aggressive. I think a lot of it's going to be Illidan jumping in, doing some damage, jumping out as Li Ming puts in an orb, and trying to do it that way.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting here, and they just have really strong heroes on the side of Excelsior here. Jaina, Lunara, Greymane. That is a scary damage front. That is a lot of burst damage.
Mm-hmm. And then we also, just to talk about Brightwing some more, is on Curse you have, especially early game with Brightwing, she has a lot of presence in game. Q got buffed a little bit, so it does more damage. And also she can, stay in lane a little bit and come late into those curses and those tributes. Just soak a little bit of XP, kind of because you're going to have to counter that Abathur soak. Abathur's going to soak a lot on this map. And so maybe just get a little bit of soak in there before she phase shifts in.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're right. The soaking advantage here is going to be really key to how they manage that. So even without actually picking that, Brightwing as a counter to Abathur, but it's just a really useful thing to have. And I think it's just... What'd you say?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. And I know everybody's really excited to see how Brightwing is going to fare here. I don't see her very often. And I don't know, I haven't seen her very much in the pro scene either, but maybe I've just missed some of the games that I've seen. But I really think that she's going to make a huge impact in this game, how she times those polymorphs, and how she's able, and especially in the early game, to sustain her team.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be interesting to see what build Abathur goes. I think that we'll probably see Mayans.
Yeah.
Because that would make sense. And that would also help. Just with it's almost like it's pokey. Some well-placed mines can kind of do some damage to the back line.
Yeah, but
and bushes as they're coming to curses, as they're coming to tributes, just a couple of those mines in the right bushes can take someone down to half health before they even get to the team fight to engage.
It's definitely going to be kind of a hybrid build, though, I would almost say, because obviously they wanted to go all in with the Rhaegar and the Abathur going on the Illidan. So you're going to have some of those hat talents, I think, if you want to make the most of it. Otherwise, Illidan's going to have to really pick and choose his engagements a lot better, especially now because Greymane and Li Ming, it's going to have so much burst. Oh, I'm sorry, not Li Ming. Li Ming's on the other team. Greymane and Jaina and Lunara are going to have so much burst.
I think we're going to see Illidan going in as Greymane goes in, and both those melees doing work in the back line for each team.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really love this Jaina skin that we're seeing here. Is that the Lunar Jaina skin?
That is the Lunar Jaina skin.
Yeah, I feel like I'm advertising for Blizzard now, but it's really spiffy. But another Cursed Hollow game here, and I just think that... Who do you think's going to win here? I'm calling you out now.
That's so hard for who do you think's gonna win? I'm gonna go with Excelsior because Brightwing.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Excelsior myself because of the poke damage that they're able to do off the tribute. And I just think that they just have a lot of really strong heroes on their team that can take advantage. But, you know, Abathur can prove me wrong, and Abathur has proven me wrong in the past because he's just such a strong hero on Cursed Hollow, and he's able to soak so effectively well. So, in Twitch chat, just let us know, who do you think's going to win here? Do you think it's going to be RFS and they're going to move on to the finals, or is it going to be Excelsior?
Roya also with that Brightwing. The Brightwing gang.
Yep.
All right, so let's do these introductions right now. On Excelsior, we have Ben the Magic J on Johanna, a Rubies on Lunara, Cruel Alloy on Brightwing, Mr. Frigger on Greymane, and Ciari on Jaina.
And on the side of RFS, we have Percival on ETC, Nesper on Illidan, Ethics on Rhaegar, Lord Satan on Li Ming, and GS Needham on Abathur.
Good old Hammy.
Yeah, I know, and we definitely have experience here. We could talk a little bit while we're waiting for things to happen here. RFS actually won, was it our Season 2 tournament, I believe?
Season 1 and Season 2?
I'm not sure if they won both of them, but yeah. RFS has definitely been here with NexVerse, and they've been to this tournament quite a bit, and every time they come here, they always show us and express you know, their way that they can dominate some of this competition. And I will admit, a lot of the times they do pick comps that look kind of sketchy on paper, but they're able to execute them quite well. So definitely would not put them out of the running for winning here for sure.
I would agree with that.
All right, we'll look at some level 1 talents here. We have Rolling Like a Stone for ETC, Shadow Shield for Illidan, Electric Charge for Rhaegar. We don't know what Li Ming's going to take yet, and we do have that first mind talent and Venom Nest go off for Abathur.
And on the other side, we see Knight takes Pawn again on Johanna. The Reveal Enemy on Nature's Perspective for Nature's Toxin. Hyper Shift for Brightwing. Perfect Aim for Greymane. And Conjurers on Jaina.
Alright, and it looks like so far we just have our standard kind of builds here. We have Brightwing kind of just by herself up here. But, you know, Brightwing can be anywhere at the map at any time, so...
Yeah, early game 2, she's pretty decent at laning. So I think we're going to see her kind of by herself a lot. Nesper taking a lot of damage right here.
Yeah, definitely getting polymorphed right there. Just having to be careful here because they're just, like you said, a lot of CC. Brightwing really controlling the way that fight goes. And, well, you know, people like to say it's just really easy. You know, you just polymorph the Illidan. But really you have to just kind of pay attention to where his cooldowns are and what position he is with the team. And also your allies' cooldown, because you can have bad polymorphs versus good polymorphs, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Meanwhile, Brightwing is not able to, to really push these guys off, as they're just able to push this top pretty easily.
Yeah, almost got that left turret down, and Excelsior having to respond a little bit.
Yeah, and it does look like it's at least Mr. Frigger here is able to keep the Li Ming off the towers, which, let's admit it, in this kind of meta right now, that's kind of a small victory in itself.
It definitely is.
Meanwhile, they're doing a reverse push up top now.
Mm-hmm. Ethics trying to come in and scare him off a little bit. We do see that hat on that tower. Cruel, I think, is going to get this. Right there. Nope.
Meanwhile, Lunara here taking quite a bit of damage from Percival, and he is actually getting hatted too. So Ruby has to be really careful here to make sure that he doesn't get caught out by, you know, Power Slide when it comes back off a cooldown.
Mm-hmm. It's been pretty back and forth between those two in this lane so far, in this bottom lane.
Alright, and we do have level 4 approaching right now, so we have double neck guitar to really just increase the Power Slide's power even more. Immolation, you know, kind of your standard Illidan build, which we do see him take Siege Camp with that as well. Dominance, that talent that's just been loved by every single Li Ming tonight. And Adrenal Overload, so there's that part of that shield build that we're going to see, that Abathur is going to buff that Illidan.
Right. On the other side, Laws of Hope. Nimble Wisp for Lunara, Unstable Anomaly for Brightwing, Drought Overflow for Mr. Frigger on Greymane, and Snowstorm on Jaina. So taking the increased damage on the damage when Polymorph ends there, and it does have a little bit of a splash that happens.
Yeah, see, we have the Brightwing expert here, so I don't even really have to say anything about Brightwing here. But yeah, we do see the first tribute going off here, and we, like I said, we do want to see how well they're going to be able to poke here. And Illidan doing the really smart thing here, making sure to push out that lane so that they have to respond to that siege camp right there. Meanwhile, we do have Abathur soaking bottom, so every second that this tribute is being fought off right now, Abathur is gaining a little bit of experience, but he is having to deal with that siege camp down there as well.
NexVerse going in the backline trying to get something, but he does get taken down as he tries to get away, and that polymorph kind of crucial. Percival getting caught in the condemn and is also going to go down. But like you said, Abathur down in the bot, and Hammy just soaking that XP, and those giants are throwing on those towers a little bit, but it's not really going to matter.
Yeah, we definitely see the EXP is not too far off between the two teams, but what we said has definitely come true here. They want to poke as well as they can, but they don't want to give off too many kills because that negates their Abathur advantage, and the poke is just doing work to them when it comes to fighting on the tributes, just like we talked about.
Excelsior getting their level 7 talents right now. Battle momentum being taken by Johanna, Phase Shield by Brightwing, Incendiary Elixir on Greymane, and Frostbitten on Jaina.
And we don't know what Lunara's going to take yet. She's kind of waiting, kind of feeling it out, seeing what kind of options that she wants to go there.
I imagine that we'll see the damage on Nature's Toxin. Let's see. FX getting away a little bit there. We see NexVerse got that bruiser camp right as this tribute is going up, so great timing right there.
Yeah, we do have the second tribute spawning here. Just like you said, just perfect timing on when to do it here, and that's going to be the advantage that RFS has. But they're going to respond by making sure that they take their bruiser camp as well, but perhaps a little slow to rotate here.
Right, it might be just enough time for RFS to grab this. Ethics is going to start capping. We're going to see Jaina's going to come and try and kind of get some flank and try to stop it, but it doesn't matter. NexVerse going in, and the hat goes off, and it is enough to take down Ciari.
Yeah, just kind of a huge mistake there, knowing that, you know, that possibly, why would they need to be anywhere else on the map besides be at the curse? And Illidan is just going to be able to stick to you, so you can't afford to take any poke damage, especially when you're by yourself.
Right. Kind of checked that a little bit by themselves and paid for it because the rest of the team not able to help. We do see Cruel Alloy and Mr. Frigger up here starting the boss. Everyone else still in lane, so it's not too obvious. NexVerse at the same time is trying to grab this bottom Illidan with the hat on, just so strong. But Vision is there. Ruby's able to get the Wisp in, so Ben's going to come down and try to make something happen, at least chase them off that boss a little bit. Percival's having to come down as well. NexVerse going in. Ruby's getting caught a little bit with the body block. Brightwing's trying to come in, able to finally come in on Ben, and the polymorph goes up on NexVerse, but Cruel having taken a lot of damage too, and the slow Brightwing not able to get away. Percival falling as well. Ben in a little bit of trouble. Looks like he might go down as well. And yes, Lord Satan is going to teleport in and just finish off Ben there.
Yeah, just a huge misplay there because they wanted to make sure that they poked him off the boss. But like I said, just Illidan with the hat right now is just able to stick to all those targets and just eventually get them all down. And you have to make sure that, you know, while you're trying to contest, to just not give up those deaths, because now you're having those deaths as well as Abathur being on the map soaking whenever you're not on the map. But they do get level 10 just about the same time, so...
Yes.
Let's see for ultimates here. We do have ultimate evolution as expected from Abathur. Disintegrate, Ancestral Healing, Metamorphosis, and Mosh Pit.
Oh, a little bit of kind of stuff happening right now at the boss. NexVerse trying to get this boss again, and Excelsior coming in and chasing off it. Percival having to come in, and there goes the Mosh! The Ancestor goes off on NexVerse. A lot of damage going out.
Yeah, and Ruby's just trying to get away as much as possible, but GS Needham is probably going to go down here. Yes, Illidan does go down. Brightwing goes down. And the resets are real right now. And it is a 3-for-2 trade at the moment right here, but Lord Satan is trying to escape. Ruby has to be careful because if he gets the slow on him, and yes, it's going to be the end of Li Ming as well.
Yes, they are coming around it too. I don't think they were going to be able to get away from that. But yeah, that was a kind of crazy team fight there with the nowhere. NexVerse was trying to get that boss.
Meanwhile, Abathur positioning himself to get this tribute, but I think Johanna is probably going to get there in time to stop it. No, the mines, walking over all these mines, but she does pop Unstoppable, so she might be able to pop her E and stop this, and she doesn't! Just seconds away from doing that, and that's gotta feel really bad.
But are they going to be able to catch Hammy? That is the question.
I don't know, he's the slug on the run right now. And he's gonna hat right in the middle of the lane.
Unafraid. He knows his team is there. He's alright. In the meantime, NexVerse going to grab that bruiser camp.
Yeah, and it does look like we are going to have a pretty epic fight here because it is going to be 2-2 right here. So the next tribute is going to be Curse. And that boss still has been the source of almost all of these fights here, has still not been taken bottom.
Yeah, that elusive boss. Everybody wants it. They see it yellow on the map, and they think someone else could be there grabbing it.
Yeah, this is the boss of Legends right here. This boss is really the main objective of this game. Forget the core. Who's going to get that bottom boss first?
So let's see on the other side for Excelsior, we'll go over the ultimates right now. It's Blessed Shield, Thornwood Vine, Blink Heal, go for the Throat, and Water Elemental. Yeah,
once again, all the Janas right now seem to favoring that Water Elemental because I guess the Ring of Frost is just, if you don't have a perfect setup for it, it is a very difficult ability to land.
Yeah, and I think it's circumstantial based on your team and what you can follow up to make it matter the most. Ben trying to cap, but the orb comes in.
Yeah, really, Li Ming just trying to poke as well as she can. Just not afraid because of the amount of mana that she has and the mana management to just poke it. But Bend the Magic J being very aggressive here. Does cast the Blessed Shield, but really just...
NexVerse coming in from behind, though, on Rubies.
Yeah, and really trying to get the Lara, but taking a ton of damage. Mosh Pit goes out, but it only goes on Brightwing, but it looks like it will be enough, and Brightwing will go down. And the cooldown resets are going down, and the Ultimate Evolution did go down on Li Ming as well. Percival trying to catch Erubes, does get the Power Slide, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to kill him, and he's actually going to go down himself.
Yeah, that orb just enough to finish him off. Oh, Mr. Frigger's chasing a little bit there. Is he able to get away? He wants to make something happen. Ben missing the Condemn right there as Satan teleports out of it.
Yeah, very close there.
Yeah, and actually Excelsior are going to get this. I actually thought that they were going to lose this tribute, but they last a little bit longer, I think, with... Nesper went in, did a lot of damage on Illidan, created a lot of chaos, and that Mosh Pit having on Brightwing kind of cut her off, made them have to retreat. But because the reset is so short and Brightwing's able to get back so quick, they were able to grab that curse.
Yeah, Nesper has to be really careful here because, these towers aren't going to shoot. They aren't going to help you defend here. You have to make sure that you're not going to get caught out as well. But they do get that fort there, and they also have both bottom and top as well, so you can see that they definitely have the building advantage here, and Abathur just making sure that he's getting the most amount of soak that he can at this possible time to just, try to close this gap a little bit.
A little boss magic happening. This tempting bottom boss is finally may get capped, but RFS looking like they may know what's going on. Oh, no, I thought they were going to come down, but it looks like they're not. They may not know that they're there.
Yeah, and they just really didn't want to fight around that boss, I don't think. Maybe they just didn't have everybody that they wanted to, and nobody was in the position to do it. We do see that we have level 13 talents. We'll talk about, we have Groupies going off on ETC, so getting that extra healing off. 6 Cents from Illidan, Tidal Waves from Rhaegar, Illusionist from Li Ming, and Bombard Strain from Abathur.
And on the other side for Excelsior, it's going to be Burning Rage on Johanna, Unfair Advantage on Lunara, Shield Dust for Brightwing, Running Wild for Greymane, and Stormfront for Jaina. So Excelsior going to cap this top there boss as well. And it's going to push a little bit in that lane, clear up these giants. Maybe these giants are going to hit him.
Yeah, he's just walking past the giants. He doesn't have anything to do with that. He's going straight for buildings. That's what bosses do, man. And we have him clearing up here mid here a little bit, trying to push out a little bit. But RFS just on the back foot here with all these bosses they had to deal with.
Yeah, but Excelsior really not pushing with either of those bosses either. Really not getting that much from it. Nothing from that top boss there, and only a lit, and really nothing from the boss at the bottom too. They had already actually gotten that keep, so really nothing happening with the capping of those bosses.
Yep, and Abathur meanwhile just doing Abathur things, making sure they're doing it, but being really he kind of burrowed top, but he has to be careful to make sure that Jaina doesn't see anything, and he, is going to back wisely here.
Mm-hmm.
Illidan going to do the bruisers here, just anticipation of when the next curse is going to do. And in between these tributes spawning, they're always just trying to make sure to be careful. You don't want to be caught out. That way, whenever a team fight does happen and you lose and then the curse pops, it could be a really bad situation, especially on the side of Excelsior, because they have 2 out of 3 already.
A little bit of fortuitous tribute spawn right there for them. We saw the Wisp, but just zooming all the way around the map so that Excelsior had a little bit of vision of RFS there. We see Thornwood Vines going out, doing a little bit of poke.
Yeah, like we
Personal
said, they're
taking
just
some
the
damage.
poke just going so ham right now. We see like they haven't even really taken much damage on the side of but RFS is going to have to engage here because they cannot just do this poke. ETC going on here, trying to chase off, but it does look like Brightwing's going to get off and gets the shield off just in time.
NexVerse almost able to body block Frigger from getting behind the wall there. Percival really low. Ciara coming in, trying to get the soul on him, doing so much damage. Are they able to do it? Yep, she is able to take him down. Rigger going down as well. The Condemned grabbing NexVerse, and they are going to do able to finish him off as well. We saw the Nature Toxin doing a lot of damage there. And Excelsior opting to push, probably right. They want to get down this keep. There's 3 down. Really nothing that Lord Satan can do. And Abathar already having used his ultimate evolution.
Yeah, and it's
able
just
to catch up on tributes here.
Yeah, and it's just a huge problem right now. Like we've been saying, this poke, we just exist in this meta right now where the range DPS are just so strong that if you don't have poke, it's going to be hard to deal with the likes of, Greymane, who has poke in his kit already, Lunar, who has a lot of poke, Jaina, who has a lot of poke, and they're just not able to get the engagements that they want.
And I think that's why we're seeing GSN Needham cloning or ultimate evolutioning the Li Ming also. It's just that they have that a little bit more ranged.
Yeah.
And trying to counter poke, but it just not really doing as much as they need it to do.
Yeah, and it's just going to be, they have to make sure that the team is on the same page. ETC has to, if he can, try to get the mosh of his life off, but just all of them have to engage as a full team at the same time and make sure that they get the same target, because even just the little bit of time that they spend at tributes just poking a little bit, they just take way too much damage at the beginning of these fights.
You see the little bit of the counter soak by Cruel Alloy. Going to utilize the teleport to get up to her team if she needs it.
Yeah, but this is the make or break right now here. This next tribute for RFS, they really have to make something happen right here. And Illidan is going in to use Metamorphosis. Percival's trying to position to use it. He does it, but the Blessed Shield does go out. But Jaina does get picked off here, and the resets are going off, and Brightwing is very low. Percival getting Ancestral healed.
Ruby's going down as well. Frigger taking a lot of damage, trying to get away. Ben trying to save his team, give them some time to get away. Cool Alloy's coming in, trying to save Mr. Frigger. But we solo is able to get away. No, NexVerse unrelenting, just gonna keep chasing, keep engaging, not gonna let them get away.
Wow, what a play right there. Like I said, I was just talking about how this was their time to do something, and they needed to do something, and RFS goes and they make sure that they're getting value out of this. And they're gonna just try to take a keep here.
I mean, it's what they need to do. It's a 4 or 5v1.
Yeah, I don't know. They back out of that because I was kind of it was a little risky there because they were taking a lot of damage, and now they're going to have to decide what they want to do, as Abathar is just going to be able to pick up this tribute. And the curse.
I mean, Percival was really low. That's what it was there. If Percival would have had a little bit more health, I feel like they probably could have stood their ground a little bit there.
Yeah, now we're going
to... not only now just starting to get up. 13 seconds still. It's going to give RFS enough time to grab the spells. Are we going to see a Slappy? No, Abathur's going to... Oh no, he's coming back. He's going to slap. Oh, okay. I was hoping. I was thinking it was going to happen.
No, he's just making sure he's putting his Locust here, which is really efficient to make sure that, they're getting as much damage so they can race this down as fast as possible. But, Excelsior here realizing that RFS is doing their boss is saying, we're going to make sure that we're getting value as well in getting this boss, so... They kind of had to do that, I think, with the health that they were at, that they couldn't go to the top boss and get it as fast as they wanted to. But once again, it seems like with these curses, both of the teams not getting as much as they possibly could out of it. But RFS does have level 20 talents, and now Excelsior does as well.
But we are in the situation here now where the next curse, RFS has 3 more. They have to win 3 more tributes in order to get another curse. Where with Excelsior, they're sitting at 2, so they really, they could give one up, they could give 2 up even in order to maybe push in some other things. They have a little bit of the building advantage, but only barely.
Yeah. And for Storm talents right here, we have ETC having Death Metal, Demonic Form on Illidan, Rewind on Rhaegar, Temporal Flux on Li Ming, and Abathur having the Ultimate Evolution Evolutionary Link upgrade.
And we see Indestructible for Johanna, Force Wrath of Thornwood Vines increase there. For Lunara, Double Wormhole for Brightwing, Hunter's Blunderbuss on Greymane, and Bolt of the Storm for Jaina. So it's a little bit more disengaged there for Jaina. Ciara hoping to try to stay alive a little bit longer. We see the Mosh goes off. Nesper doing a lot of damage, having to get Ancestral as well.
And the Death Metal goes off, and it does catch 4 heroes.
Oh yeah, Mr. Trigger's gonna go. Oh, I thought he was gonna go.
Wow. Just the amount of healing that Brightwing did and the negating of all the magic damage as well. Just should have looked like it was going to be a complete turnaround, but instead RFS is going to get down.
Is out on this condemn. I thought Ben was going to be able to get the condemn off, but not able to. Hammy taking some damage now too. His Frigger goes after him, but it is just the clone, so it won't really matter. Yeah, but you said Cruel Alloy there getting a lot of heals off. It's probably a combination between the shield dust, so the ability damage reduced, and then the double wormhole, so they can do the blink heal twice without consuming an actual charge. So just a lot of more burst, as burst healing as Brightwing can be, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when I watched that mosh, but the Death Metal go off, I just really thought that was it. That was the end. You know, the team was going to get wiped, but just Brightwing just cannot doubt the power of the Brightwing. And they are trying to do this rest of the fast possible, but they are taking a lot of damage. Cruel Alloy might go down here. Percival making sure doing a lot of damage, but does blink out. Greymane going
up
down.
Again. Ruby is trying to take advantage, getting the shield from Cruel Alloys, and it's at 8%. Are they going to be able to get it? It's going to be 2%, 1%. And yeah, it's going to be a knockout of RFS by Excelsior. The Brightwing wins the game. I mean,
wow.
The Brightwing wins the game. But yeah, interesting match there. It swung both ways. RFS definitely looked like they were making a comeback. The Illidan, Nesper on Illidan was just really strong, doing a lot of damage, getting in. Great Ancestrals by Ethics, making sure, as it seemed that as he was metamorphosing, that's when the Ancestral was going out. It was almost perfectly timed. But yeah, it's just that death right there with Percival when he did the mosh, and then he was able to get, killed right there. And then the second one, the death mosh went off, and they weren't able to capitalize on that kill on Mr. Frigger. I think that was where it turned.
Yeah, I have to totally agree with you there. And man, props to Cruel Alloy. We saw his really good play on Tyrande, and just exceptional play on Brightwing. Really right there, just the key to winning that game just fell on him to make sure that he was healing.
Strong.
Yeah, for sure. Really excited. That was a really great game. Unfortunate, once again, we've just had some really good matchups that aren't going on in the finals here, and unfortunately it is a best of one on here, so we did see them have to go down here. But, they'll be back next week for sure, and I hope Excelsior will be back as well, and we can maybe see, a rematch between them, because that was such a good game.
That was a good game. Interesting things. But I think that what it came down to is just a little bit of the poke in the range, like you were saying. Ruby's able to get a lot of damage in with those Thornwood Vines at the beginning of all those team fights to kind of just poke away, chip away at RFS a little bit. So Ancestral would have to get used, kind of early in the engagement, to keep Nesper alive, even though he's doing his job. He's getting in that backline and really doing a lot of work. But yeah, great game. Really interesting to watch. Fun. And Brightwing.
Yeah, for sure. And so right now, that was the semifinal round. So what's next is going to come up is going to be the finals, which is going to have Excelsior and the winner of Agents with Attitude, who we've casted before, and there's a chance. So as soon as that game comes up, we're going to bring it to you. But for now, we are just going to go on a short break. So see you guys soon.
Super short.
Yeah, super short. And I hope that we're going to get another epic game for you guys.